San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? And a happy Wednesday to everybody out there in America's finest city. I'm Braden Surprenant. He's Frank Marchese. We are the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. It is a long week for us this week. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of show moving around, if you will. We're going to be leaving after today's show and going to Baltimore. What could possibly be going on in Baltimore?
Yeah, absolutely nothing.
Nothing
going on in Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Nothing happening in Baltimore right now.
Hey, Birdland. We're going to Baltimore. We're going to Baltimore for Army-Navy. Hopefully Frank doesn't burn down Camden Yards while he's there.
Well, there's a chance. There's a real chance. No,
It's not the Orioles' fault.
No,
it's not the Orioles'
I'm not
fault.
I'm not burning down Camden Yards. I'm burning down Citi Field. This is a guy, Pete Alonso. For those of you who don't know,
Hang on. Relax.
No, I know.
I'll let you I'm going to let you get your thoughts together here for a second. So Pete Alonso just signed a 5-year, $155 million contract. We're going to get to that in a second. We're going to set up the show. Sam Levitt's going to join us at noon. I'd love to get Sam's reaction to this. We'll get you updated on winter meetings. There was a lot of news out there about the Padres, about the Dodgers. I mean, everything's festering with potential trades. We are getting ready for a lot of different things when it comes to the sports world. Got to see Phillip Rivers get introduced at a press conference today. That was pretty cool. I mean, there's so many things to break down. And again, we're leaving at the end of the show today. We're flying to Baltimore. We will be doing our show live in Baltimore for the next 2 days, Thursday and Friday, at the Convention Center in Baltimore for the Army-Navy game. Should be a fun time for us. We're going to have more on that, obviously, later tomorrow as well as Friday. So lots of stuff to get to on today's show. Now, we were just complaining about this the other day. Seems like everybody gets the news at like 2 o'clock. All the big Jeff Passan bombs at 2 o'clock. So as we were reminiscing with, or should I say really just having conversation with Ben and Woods as we enter the studio and they leave about the hilarious conversation about Brett Rippon that they had at the end of their show. Made a couple of jokes. They leave. Paul pops his head back in. Passan bomb. And I'm like, what's about to happen? Is this a big Padres trade? Is this a big Padres signing? What's going on? And he goes, Alonso to Baltimore. He closes the door. And then, like the little angry guy from Inside Out? Frank turned into that almost immediately. Just exploded. And then he goes, give me something to throw. So I found a little we had a little Nerf ball in here.
No, it wasn't the Nerf ball. It was one of the erasers over here.
Very
The one
safe.
that we don't use.
Guy screamed into a pillow, threw the whatever it was, with no damage, of course, all contained. It was like, contained explosion. And here we are. So Baltimore has Pete Alonso as their new first baseman. How do you feel about that, Frank? I feel like a therapist. How do you feel about that?
I don't know what the hell the Mets are doing right now.
I want to make it clear, Cole, Frank did not pull a Barstool Frank. He was not that level.
You pissed off your closer by one, apparently not telling him about the Devin Williams signing. That news came out yesterday. You pissed off your closer by firing the pitching coach, which, let's be fair, you needed to do. And it also doesn't help that his freaking brother is on the Dodgers, so you lost that battle. This was a slam dunk. Pete Alonso was supposed to be a lifetime Met. This team under Steve Cohen, this team that is supposed to have a blank checkbook, has lost Jacob deGrom and has now lost Pete Alonso. These are homegrown superstars that hold so many now of this organization's single season and franchise records that you have just let walk. Now,
well,
how in the world do you lose out? I understand Boston because Boston can afford it. Boston can pay him the money. You lost it to the Orioles.
see, now here's the deal. I don't know. It could have been worse. Like, he could have gone to, like, the Phillies or something. Like, Baltimore, don't you worry about Baltimore. If he's going to go somewhere else, which was somewhat expected, not totally expected, wouldn't you want him to go to a different league that you don't have to play ever?
I don't care about
and
that.
It's not like he went to the Yankees.
Like I said, I can take getting outbid by a better team. I can take being outbid by a Boston, by a Cubs, by a Dodgers. I understand that. That I can live with. You got outbid by a team who is perennially in last place in the American League East. That's who outbid you. A team that is trying to build through young stars. They've got young first basemen. You lost out to Baltimore? Come on. 5 years, 155. You're telling me the Mets couldn't do that? That's absurd.
Maybe they didn't want to. Maybe he didn't want to return to be the Mets.
That is
return to be a New York Met.
Absurd.
Maybe he's got a problem with Mr. Met.
This is a franchise player. He was supposed to be a Met for life. The fan base loved him. He loved the city. He set your single season. He set your franchise home run record. And you just let him walk. You get nothing in return. You let him walk to Baltimore. That's my biggest issue with this, is he went to a perennial last place team. If he went to Boston, fine. I get it. Baltimore, come on. Why? Because you didn't want to give him. Why? Because you didn't want to give him a 5-year deal for everything he's done for this franchise, for everything he's done for the Mets. You could have given him a 5-year deal. Stop it. He's grown immensely as a defensive player. He's the best power hitter you've got next to Juan Soto. It's absurd that you let him just go. I don't. It's you have to get somebody now. And now I'm seeing that they're open to trading David Peterson.
Well, they spent a lot of money. It didn't really work out. Maybe they should go the cheap route. That's what all the journalists say the team should do. Trade for prospects.
But
I
that's
mean,
not
the Mets might be giving up Lindor. What happens with that? I mean, you might as well just start over at that point.
The fact that this is David Stearns supposed to be the genius behind all this. You let Diaz walk. He didn't even give you a chance. Diaz was so aggravated with the Mets organization that he didn't even give them a chance to match the Dodgers offer, as reported by Joel Sherman.
The Pittsburgh Mets.
And now 2 days later, not even 2 days later, 24 hours later, you lose the best closer in baseball, and then you lose your franchise cornerstone who came up with the organization. You saw him become a solid defensive player. He was getting subbed out of games late when he started by Dom Smith. Where is he now? I'm shocked. Again, Boston, I can live with it. The Cubs, I can live with it. Baltimore, stop it. Stop it.
Are you done?
Yeah. Now
Feel better now? Isn't it ironic that we're flying to Baltimore later today? Earlier tomorrow morning? I do find that a little ironic. Pete Alonso's deal with the Orioles gives him the highest AAV ever for a first baseman. He winds up with $185 million, including his $30 million salary last year, and followed the same track Matt Chapman and Blake Snell did, taking a short-term deal and turning it into a bounty, according to Jeff Passan. Now, aside from this local show having a Mets supporter and being very upset, you're seeing more names on the market start to fall off and start to trickle out, which is good news for the Padres because now you're going to see signings starting to happen. More so for Padres fans because now you get to go to all these names are going off the board. These are names that you were never going to get anyway, not have an offer on. But with these guys signing, that means other names are going to start to sign. And the other thing, too, is all of the bigger free agents are starting to sign. Now, you're going to wait on Cody Bellinger and Kyle Tucker. Guys like Bo Bichette, Eugenio Suarez, Alex Bregman are all going to start falling in line. But now it's really going to start opening up for trades. And I'm curious to see what type of trades are on the docket today. And I think there's going to be some trades made today because today's the last day of the winter meetings, if I'm not mistaken. Do they do the Rule 5 draft tomorrow?
No, Rule 5 draft is today.
It is today. So they're done today. Like I remember every winter meetings that I have worked, they get up in the morning, they go to the Rule 5 draft, and then they are all at the airport headed out. So I would imagine if there's any type of big trade, it might be today. So we'll see what they have on the docket, see what the Padres have up their sleeve. There's a couple of things that we want to get to, as talked about in yesterday's article by Kevin Acee. He's still reporting that there are some potential things being talked about when it comes to a big trade. It sounds like the Padres are interested in potentially making a blockbuster type move. What exactly did Kevin Acee talk about? We'll discuss and see what it means for the Padres when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's number one sports station, 97 through the Fan. August on 97 to the Fan. Join us on the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with the crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. It's not been a great couple of weeks for it. It's not been a great sports year for Frank. What did you say like 3 days ago? Can my sports teams just be competent?
Yeah, just one. I just want one.
How's Chelsea doing?
They lost to Atalanta yesterday. Inter Milan lost to our wonderful IT guy, Mike Prasser's Liverpool squad yesterday on a late penalty kick. So that was fun as well.
What about Inter Milan?
Yeah, they lost to Liverpool yesterday.
Oh, they lost. And then I said Chelsea. They
lost to Atalanta yesterday. So yeah,
Hey, Penn State finally got their hire. It's so bad right now that
you
can't even get one to make fun of you.
Watch today be the
today will be the day that Angie's not here.
Today will be the day chemo does not bring Angie. She's been here the last 6 days. Today will be the day.
Yeah. Poor Frank. It's all right, buddy. We can get cheered up with this trip to Baltimore. Is that a trigger word? Too early for you?
There's going to be a picture.
I need the Hey Birdland. I'm going to need it. I'm going to need it.
That's cool.
Come on.
Hey Birdland.
Hey Birdland.
There is going to be.
You know what? That's them getting back at us for me saying he's Birdland guy. They won't call him by his actual name, the manager of the Baltimore Orioles.
At some point during this weekend, there is going to be a picture of me just staring at Camden Yards.
That's awesome.
There's like just me blankly staring at Camden Yards. There will be a picture of it.
Frank's gonna take a picture flipping off Camden Yards as they're landing in Baltimore.
Well, again, I'm not even mad at I'm not even mad at Baltimore. I'm not mad at Baltimore at all. I'm mad at the Mets. I'm mad at my team.
Now, Pete Alonso's going to have a good year. I mean, Camden Yards is a hitter-friendly ballpark.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't noticed.
Yep.
The fact they, had to move the ballparks back, the fences back because it was too friendly.
Too friendly for guys that wear New York uniforms, apparently. That's not a bad move for Baltimore, aside from the fact that they still need pitching and they don't have that, and they're loaded with offensive talent.
He'll have 70 home runs this year because he gets to play at Yankee Stadium more than once, too. It's great.
New York Mike in the chat says this is as bad as losing Tom Seaver.
Well,
is it that bad?
No, because they actually, quote unquote, got something back for Tom Seaver because they traded him.
You got nothing, but you got a draft pick.
Whoop-de-doo.
That draft pick can turn into who knows?
And how about
maybe
that?
It's the next Derek Jeter.
The Mets were expected to be like 14th in the draft, and because they didn't get bumped up into the top 6 in the lottery, they're now picking 27th or something like that.
Joel Sherman saying they didn't even make an offer on Pete Alonso? We're going to have to find that information. If that's the case, then, I mean, they just didn't even want the guy. But now they traded Brandon Nimmo. Edwin Diaz is now a Dodger, and Pete Alonso is now an Oriole. Not a great time to be a Mets fan. Let's talk about the Padres, though. Another detailed article by Kevin Acee talking about rumors and everything like that.
Anthony DiComo confirms the Mets, quote, never made a formal offer to Pete Alonso.
Yeah, that's incompetence by the Mets, or they just didn't want him back.
No, they didn't want to give him more than 3. They didn't want to give him more than 2 years. They said 3 would be pushing it.
That's interesting coming from a team that's got unlimited funds.
Again. Oh, really?
I mean, that's like they're part of the problem, right? With like letting the Dodgers get everybody. If they're not going to go out there and spend money as a team that's got unlimited funds, then yeah, this is why the Dodgers get everybody. All right, back to the Padres. Here's what Kevin Acee said. NL West dynamic remains the same. Dodgers spend, Padres try to keep up. But the winter meetings in Orlando, Dodgers made the headline move of the day yesterday, signing Edwin Diaz to a 3-year, $69 million deal to anchor the bullpen. This comes 1 day after they gave Tanner Scott, or 1 year after they gave Tanner Scott $72 million last offseason and paid Kirby Yates $13 million. In total, the Dodgers have committed $154 million to 3 closers, in the past 2 years, more than an entire team payroll for clubs like the A's, Pirates, and Marlins. Padres president of baseball operations, A.J. Preller, openly acknowledged the Dodgers' financial power. Quote, they're going to spend a lot of money. They're going to get top players every year, but emphasized the Padres' focus. Bottom line for us is our focus on ourselves and how do we get better. Honestly, I think that's probably the best mindset you can have, Frank, about trying to compete with LA, because the more you try to worry about other teams in your division, the more you're going to fall behind because your focus is not strictly on your team.
Oh, right. And we said that last year as well, is if you worry about trying to catch up, then you're losing sight of what is going on in front of your own face. So you have to worry about what you are doing, and you got to make yourself the best you can be before you can worry about going out and chasing somebody else, basically, more or less.
And I agree with that. I don't think you need to worry about what the Dodgers are doing. You got to focus on yourself and try to make your team the best you possibly can make it, with the ramifications and the stipulations that you have. This is the difference. This is why, again, I continue to say it. I'm going to continue to say it. I'm going to continue to beat my fist down on this entire against the national media and people in baseball. I think this is great for baseball that the Dodgers get everybody. But the reality is, if the Padres were to sign a guy like Tanner Scott, just throw the Padres out of there. You could name literally any team right now. If they're going to go sign a guy like Tanner Scott and he doesn't pan out, you know what they don't do the next year? Go sign the next best closer.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody does that.
Well, they sit and ride with him because they spent so much money on him that they have to sit and ride with him.
Because they can't afford to waste another $69 million on another guy while they're paying $72 million instead of a closer, now a setup man. You can't just do that. Teams can't fit. They can't just throw money at problems all the time. Because you know what they need that $69 million for? Other areas of their team that are a problem. You can't just set money on fire. The Dodgers can't. This is why, they are sprinting to a lockout. Sprinting to it.
Yeah,
at least Pete Alonso didn't sign with the Dodgers.
And anyone who's trying to hold the Dodgers back is just getting dragged along. Especially with the rumors that we had heard last night, coming from LA. That's just...
Yeah, the rumors about Tarek Skubal.
Yeah, there's a deal. There's
Kyle Tucker on a team-friendly contract.
I didn't see the Kyle Tucker stuff. You sent me the Skubal thing.
Kyle Tucker stuff was in that same article, and it was like, well, the Dodgers could go after him. They wouldn't mind having him, but it's going to be on their terms. They're not going to give him a big year deal. They're going to give him they'd offer like a 2 or 3 year deal max or something like that. Kyle Tucker could sit there and just be like, oh, I'm going to go win a World Series if I just sign with them.
Yeah.
This is like the exact same thing the Patriots went through when they went through their dynasty. The difference was there is a salary cap in the NFL, but their best player in Tom Brady, and the reason why people flocked to the Patriots, took less money every single year and kept renegotiating his contract.
Mm-hmm.
The Dodgers get that in their best player in Shohei Ohtani, only costing $2 million a year, or whatever it is, and all that money getting deferred to a later date. It's the same thing. And players want to get paid, and they want to be on a winning team. Except for baby Pete Alonso.
And of course, there are deferrals in the Diaz contract as well. I saw it. I think it's like $4.5 million a year is getting deferred.
Yeah, because players are willing to take the deferred money in order to be a winner, because they know they're getting paid. The Pirates can't give away deferred money because you have to convince somebody to play in Pittsburgh, first of all. And then on top, they're like, oh, but I'm going to get less money up front? No, thank you. Here's the other thing that I thought was interesting of this article by Kevin Acee. Okay, they talked about what the Dodgers are doing at the beginning. And A.J. Preller said, we got to focus on the San Diego Padres. Now, what was the report yesterday before yesterday's show? It was the one on Monday night. It was the report that they were looking for if everything works out for A.J. Preller, it's going to be like blockbuster moves, right? Mm-hmm. And so everybody assumed and started to play process of elimination of who that Juan Soto type deal would be. And a lot of people said Mason Miller, because he was the guy that made the most sense. But what did the follow-up report yesterday say about Mason Miller and the bullpen? Might not be what we were thinking yesterday. We'll tell you when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's number one sports station, 97 through the Fan. 10:34 on a, what's today, Wednesday? My clock's all tweaked this week. It's
Yeah,
going to
I
get
know.
worse.
Right.
It's going to get worse when we're on East Coast time and our show starts at 1 o'clock, but 10 o'clock on the Pacific Coast.
I was writing the show last night. I'm like, why am I writing a Friday show? It's like it feels like today's Friday.
I know, because we're leaving and we're going to do 2 more shows.
Mm-hmm.
We got a lot planned for the Army-Navy game. We're getting our guest list right now from Jimmy Shapiro, who runs it. Little PR guy is his little business that he runs. He's the one in charge of the Army-Navy game every time. It's a big appreciation for us. We love going. I have gone. This will be my 4th Army-Navy game. It's the coolest thing. Can't wait to show Frank what it's like on the Army-Navy trip.
I mean, it's a perfectly average size business. I mean, I don't know if I'd call it a small business.
That's what he calls it.
Oh, well.
He's a little PR guy, is what it says.
Oh,
That's like his little name for his thing. Oh, you think I'm insulting Jimmy Shapiro like that? What's wrong with you, dude? What's wrong with you?
Phrasing.
Anyway. So it's a fun time. It's great. I'm looking forward to it. It should be a blast. I mean, the only thing it stinks is like Army Navy is always on the East Coast. So like we're constantly flying out there. They haven't played one on the West Coast in a long time. They played one at the Rose Bowl 1 year, I think. But they sent us a bunch of stuff on it. We're going to give you all informed. And again, like I was always a guy. We're going to get to Padres baseball here in a second. There's a couple of things I want to talk about of what the Padres are willing to trade from in terms of their assets and what they're trading for, according to Kevin Acey's article. But the Army-Navy game it always like people that are not part of it. Like there's a lot of people that love the Army-Navy game, right? Mm-hmm. And a guy just called in, and we're going to get to him in a second. Craig Benita, part of the Navy. I think he played at Navy, if I'm not mistaken. He runs all the Navy alumni watch parties throughout town. It's a big deal for a lot of people, and you don't really appreciate the Army-Navy game until you physically go there. I remember watching Army-Navy on TV, and it was always like, the week before the bowl. It was after conference championship week, and it was the only game on. And then it was before, like, it was still a week and a half before bowl games, and they're running triple option. You're like, what am I watching? This is ridiculous. And then you go, and it's just like, I'm telling you, if you like sports, if you like football, if you like any type of sport, add it to your bucket list. You have to go to this thing. I'm telling you, I thought it was like, I thought it was like a boring game. Like, all right, cool. Like, we have to do this, military, all that stuff. I go to the game, eye-opening. It was so amazing. And everything about it was amazing.
For anyone who is planning on going either next year or the year after that, you may want to book a flight for no reason. I mean, just for reasons. You may want to book a flight to LaGuardia or Kennedy to get tickets at MetLife.
Oh, it's back at MetLife next year.
And then after that, to the pit that is known as Philadelphia, because they'll be at the Link in 27.
They're back at the
Link.
Yeah, do they have the future locations on here?
Only through 27. So it'll be at MetLife. Well, it says New York City, East Rutherford, New Jersey. December 12th of 26, and then December 11th of 27 will be in Philly.
So
for future planning references, you know.
Yeah. So I the only one I didn't go to is the Landover one. Was last year, but I got to go to the Boston. Was great. I had gone to the first one I went to was New York. It was the 20th anniversary of 9/11.
Okay.
Is why they had it in New York, and they gave us. You're going to get a challenge coin on Friday, Frank.
Cool.
And it's a cool thing. I'll let them explain it to you. I know a lot of people out there that are part of the Navy and everything. They know what a challenge coin is. The challenge coin we got in New York was made from melted down shrapnel or metal from the World Trade Center.
Wow.
And so I have that in a nice case with the football helmet they gave us. Then we went to Philly. It was I think it was like the 150. It was like a big anniversary year of the Army-Navy game. Mm-hmm. So it was back in the original location, Philly. They play it in Philly because it's the halfway point between Army and Navy.
Yeah.
And then after that, we went to Boston because I think it was like the 200 and something anniversary of the Boston Tea Party. So they had it in
Oh, that's
Boston
cool.
in 2023. Awesome. What a great town Boston is. And then last year it was in D.C. I didn't get to go. And then this year it's in Maryland, which has had it a couple of times. It's good to see it's back in New York City in 2026. And you said it's going to be
In Philly in
back in
27.
Philly in 27. I'm sure they're working on other ones. The Rose Bowl hosted the only Army-Navy game played out west back in 1983. It's the only time they've ever played it out here. But it's a great game. It's a fun experience. We're going to be there for the next couple of days during our shows. Going to talk a lot of Army-Navy on Friday, obviously. Tomorrow's show is going to be mostly a regular show for us. We just have to be on location. But then Friday's show is going to be a lot of Army-Navy. We get so many great guests. I was looking at the guest list of potential people to come on. I mean, it is a great group of people that you get to learn a lot about. A lot of military people that talk about the importance of this game. But we really appreciate USAA for inviting us as an affiliate of Navy football. As coming from a Navy town here in San Diego. So I know a lot of people are already getting a bunch of texts about the game. My friend Nick's like, I have 700 challenge coins. He's in the Navy though. He's the one that just came back from deployment.
So he cheated.
Oh, come on. Come on.
It's a joke.
Anyway, so we'll talk about that in a second. All right, we're going to get some of these Padres things. Do want to get to your phone calls, though. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get to Craig and Benita first. I'm sure this is an Army-Navy game call. Craig, what's going on? Go Navy, beat Army.
Yes, sir. Go Navy, beat Army. And I want to give a guy named Dick Everett a shout out. He's the guy that really coordinates all the watch parties. I help out.
Oh, there you go.
Anyways, we have our big event at the Blind Burrow this year at noon on Saturday. And we should have 150, maybe 200 people out there. We're going to fill the joints. And the game should be a great one this year. My background is I played Navy football for 4 years. I played in 3 Army-Navy games, 2 wins and a tie. I'm the last true tie because we didn't have the breaker or the point breaker or whatever. It ended in a 3-3 tie, and I am still sick to this day that we couldn't beat Army that year. We should have just creamed them. So anyways, being on the sideline of an Army-Navy game, getting a chance to get in the game, even if it's for a couple of plays. I started my senior year at offensive guard, and I had a buddy of mine from high school. He was on the West Point team across the way, and he was a senior too, and he was on the special teams and various things like that. So we have a lot. We used to meet every time at 50-yard line at the conclusion of the game, planning out what we were going to do that night, win or lose, to celebrate being together.
Well, I appreciate the phone call, Craig. I'm sure we'll be able to talk to you again on Thursday when we're out there, and just kind of a preview of what we're going to do the next couple of days. My buddy responded. He's like, "How about the Mets, Frank? Cheat this." You can't poke the bear of the Army-Navy guys this week. All right, you know what? You can't.
Relax, man.
Can't do it.
God.
Cut them deep. Let's get out to Dexter in Spring Valley. Dexter, what's going on? You're on the Braden Surprenant Show.
Hey, fellas. How's it going? Frank, are you okay?
I will be.
Okay. That's my boy Frankie from Long Island over there. Ah! So when Frank was going off on his tirade, it reminded me of a movie that I saw as a kid back in the 80s. If you get a chance to Google it or YouTube it, you'll be able to see it. It's called Scanners. And, if you see the trailer, you can picture, if you want to sync it up to Frank's tirade, what happens to the guy. It's pretty, let's just say it's very graphic, but in kind of a cheesy 80s special effects kind of way. But the other thing is, and I'm very surprised you haven't said anything as a NASCAR fan there, Frank, is what's going on in Charlotte, especially with the fact that Michael Jordan dropped the big bombshell this week.
Yeah.
Trial.
Yeah, no, it's
so I want to take your comments about that while I'm off the air. But yeah, just hang in there, Frank. Remember, as a Padres fan, we suffered a lot too. You know,
Oh, I know.
So believe me, you know, I feel your pain. And one of my closest friends is a Mets fan, and his wife is a Dodger fan. So you can imagine what happened the other day.
I appreciate the phone call.
Jersey swap. But yeah, that NASCAR trial has been absolutely insane.
They got a pretty good lineup in Baltimore right now. He's got Gunnar Henderson,
Really?
Pete Alonso,
Really?
Jordan Westberg, Taylor Ward, Adley Rutschman, Jackson Holliday, Sam Basallo, Dylan Beavers, Colton Cowser. A lot of young, basically wrecking crew. Anyway, let's talk about the focus back on the Padres a little bit. We just wanted to lay out some of the stuff that we're going to experience over the next couple of days on the show. What was the one thing that I mentioned during the break? I said, going to break, there's something about the bullpen. Now, what was laid out was the Padres don't plan on really breaking up their bullpen. They have fielded calls on Mason Miller. They have fielded calls on Adrian Morejon and Jeremiah Estrada and David Morgan, Jason Adam as well. He's recovering from a quad tendon surgery. I'm actually surprised to know that he's going to throw in the spring. That was also in the report that he's going to be ready to go, at least ready to start throwing in the springtime. And when he had that injury, I thought he was going to throw until maybe later, and maybe you get lucky if you get him at the back end of the season. Jason Adam, who had injury.
From what everything that the injury said, you were lucky to have him. He was probably going to start getting ramped up in May, like at the very end of May, but you most likely weren't going to have him back until after the All-Star break, based on the timeline that was given.
I think it's significant. He can start throwing from a mound potentially in spring training.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't think he's going to be ready until probably the All-Star break anyway, but I think that's good news. But the Padres have been receiving heavy trade interest in their top relievers. Preller is listening, and as laid out by Kevin Acee, strongly suggests he does not want to trade from the bullpen. It's not easy to find impact players. We don't take that lightly. Organization-wide sentiment, they do not want to lower bullpen quality, even if starting pitching needs are urgent. So we talked about the layout. Remember, the conversation was from 24 hours ago now, the Padres were looking to make a big blockbuster move. If AJ Preller gets what he's working on, it's going to make the trade deadline from last year, the last couple of trade deadlines, and the Juan Soto trade to the Yankees pale in comparison. That's what it was said.
Mm-hmm.
So we all assumed it would probably been Mason Miller. Sounds like they're not interested in trading Mason Miller. Sounds like they're not really interested in trading anything from the bullpen. So now what are you going to do? They talked about Nick Pivetta. The Padres need starting pitching. Padres need at least 2 starters, but don't have the $20+ million needed to sign even back-end starters on the open market. That was the other thing that was part of the conversation, right? How much money do they have? Well, apparently, according to Kevin Acee, they don't even have the $20+ million that they need to sign starting pitching, which is like, and we're talking about back-end guys that are not going to be aces, right? It's not frontline starters. These are guys like veteran Randy Vasquez type players. Relievers are cheap. Trading them doesn't meaningfully free payroll, which they need to get starting pitching. They talked about what it would be to trade Nick Pivetta. He's owed $20 million in 2026. It is only possible if return assets help them require more starting pitching. But I don't know how you could potentially do that. You would have to trade Pivetta to get prospects and then use those prospects to go get multiple starting pitchers. Seems like a very tall task, but we'll see. Multiple sources insist Preller is working on a series of deals that would qualify as blockbusters. Padres will not trade Fernando Tatis Jr. Sources repeatedly stating this makes it noteworthy amid outside speculation. To follow that up, earlier today, Sam Levitt caught up with AJ Preller. He tweeted this out. We'll have the sound on this later, but he tweeted this out. AJ Preller was asked today if Fernando Tatis Jr. is untouchable. Preller responded with this, quote, "He's somebody we're not talking about. However you want to view that. If you want to say that's untouchable, you can say that." Has that stopped teams from asking about Tatis? Preller said no.
Oh, and as it shouldn't. I mean, we discussed it yesterday. Is your job as a general manager in these meetings where everyone is all together is to kick rocks, see if start kicking tires, see if there's any sort of role, see if there's any sort of give. I mean, there are guys that are untouchable. Like I'm sure the Dodgers have gotten calls on like Freddie Freeman or Mookie Betts to see if there's any sort of life there whatsoever. So it's not surprising it shouldn't be surprising that AJ's getting calls about Fernando.
No, it's not surprising that he's getting calls. I mean, that was the most. He never says no about things, right? Like that's the closest you're going to see AJ Preller, in my opinion, say he's untouchable.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't, I think a lot of guys put themselves in a bad spot by saying, oh, this guy's untouchable. Then they end up trading the guy. I mean, he's leaving it open-ended that they might do it, but it doesn't really sound like they're very interested in trading Fernando. Quote, he's somebody we're not talking about, however you want to view that. If you want to say that's untouchable, you can say that.
I think Adam just sent it to us here. Give me a second. Yeah, he just sent it to us.
All right.
Should be ready in a second here.
As I look at this, I don't think anybody in our little realm of Southern California, and really it's San Diego County, thinks that AJ Preller is going to trade Fernando Tatis Jr. I just think it's too much of a headache. I think a lot of outside people are so used to the Padres being a small market team in sense of not spending money that they assume that they cannot continue to do this year in and year out, and they're going to eventually have to trade everybody off.
It's 3:07. I mean, we just barely have enough
We're
time.
going to play it next
right,
segment.
Yeah.
So when you hear things from AJ Preller and everything else like that, you start to think, maybe we are right. I mean, the thing is, and it was brought up yesterday off air, that I kind of agree with it. I mean, I just feel like the Padres, whatever meme you want to use, the one where it's like, I have one opinion and everybody else is wrong. You've seen those memes? Guy standing up in court, right?
You mean my life?
Yeah, the guy standing up in court and he's like the old vintage photo and it was like, and you do something. That's San Diego fans right now saying the Padres are not going to trade Fernando. And everybody else around him thinks they're going to trade Fernando or start trading away big contract. They can't afford this. They can't afford this. They can't afford this. Yet the Padres continue to spend money. They continue to build the good teams together. They continue to build playoff caliber teams. They made the playoffs 3 out of the last 4 years, 4 out of the last 6. I just think that era of Padres baseball is in the past. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that they're relatively the only team in town. They have a big footprint over San Diego, more than San Diego FC, who just came onto the radar, who's making some noise, but I don't think it's going to be in a situation where they're going to directly compete against the San Diego Padres. And I think after the Chargers leaving, there was a sense of city pride in following and supporting San Diego, especially with the Padres, especially with the fact that they spend money on their roster. I saw somebody earlier go like, if we can get an ownership that could spend some money and help us out, it'd be better. What are you talking about? 64% of the revenue they spend on their roster. How much more of the revenue do you want spent on the roster? Anything north of 60% to me is an organization that is spending money to win. So with all this outside noise about like they got to trade this guy, they got to trade this guy, they got to trade this guy, I think it's all speculation by outside people that want it to happen. Because it doesn't sound like there's any interest in those potentially getting traded. Now, the only other way that some of those guys get traded is if they bring something back that's a huge haul. I mean, AJ Preller's constantly looking for an improvement to his team. If he thinks he could get some prospect capital out of a guy like Nick Pivetta and then flip it for more pieces, he's going to do that. That's the only type of sell I can see happening is them trading away something to free up money, but then using that money to spend on other players. It's not like they're going to cut the payroll down to 150. They've already mentioned that they expect the payroll to be around where it was last year. And last year was around $211 million. That's a lot of money. So the more you start to hear some of these blockbusters and rumors, and now they start talking about, oh, well, they're not going to trade from their bullpen, and they're not going to trade from this. I mean, they're running out of pieces to trade that are that, Juan Soto level player. I'd be shocked to see a move like that happen that didn't answer with a corresponding move for the San Diego Padres. We talked about the pitching. We've talked about the bullpen, and they don't want to take away from the bullpen. His approach is to cast a wide net, be creative. And he had to say that most of the ideas that he gets go nowhere. 99% of them don't even come to fruition. Is this that 1%? Who knows? We got some sound from AJ Preller from earlier today we're going to get to when we come back and try to translate what it means for Padres fans as we head to the 11 o'clock hour. 11 o'clock, Braden Surprenant Show. Live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We're going to be talking local sports, just not in San Diego tomorrow. We'll be fresh off of a red eye. We'll land at 6 a.m. 6 a.m. Eastern time, and then we will be on the air at 1 p.m. Eastern time.
You might want to get a different flight, but because with the luck I'm having today, I'm supposed to get on an airplane at this evening. This is.
Please don't talk that into.
Yeah,
we're going to speak in positive thoughts here.
I would run if I were you.
I think we need to buy you a first class ticket.
No,
I think we do. I think we do.
No, you do not.
I had an upgrade available for like 10,000 points, which is stupid. So I used it.
I will be more mad at you if you do it. Don't do it.
What if it's a Christmas gift?
That's cool. Don't do it.
Oh, all right, fine.
I appreciate the gesture, but please don't.
I mean, you're on your own on the flight back.
That's fine.
All right. We got some good stuff from the. This is kind of like, to me, the best I've heard AJ Preller when it comes to. It's Delta, Jake. He's flying Delta. Want to help? If you want to help the boy out, it's not a lot to upgrade. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's not. I already looked at it.
That's cool.
Come on, stir it up for Frank. Frank's had a bad day today. Get to sleep on the first class. Come on, man. Come on. Anyway.
You will find out I can sleep anywhere.
All right. Well, hey, your call.
Not for long recently, apparently, but I could sleep almost anywhere.
AJ probably had a scrum earlier today, right around 10 o'clock, right when we kicked off the show. Sam Levitt reported on it on Twitter, but we have the audio. And again, a lot of it is they pressed them about, is Fernando Tatis Jr. untouchable or not? This is the closest we've ever seen to AJ Preller answering this question. This is AJ Preller from earlier this morning at the winter meetings in Orlando.
I'm just wondering, generally, have you always, I'm kind of assuming here, but have you always found the term untouchable kind of a silly term? It's like, I don't think you've ever gone on the record to say this guy's untouchable.
Yeah, I mean, I think we look at it again, like there's a bunch of guys on our roster that we're not looking to have conversations about. If somebody wants to call and say, hey, like, and that's happened this offseason where they called and said, hey, would you talk about this guy? I said, we're not talking about, those players. I don't see us doing that. If somebody wants to say, hey, would you do this? You're not going to just like cover your ears and say, hang up the phone immediately, But, I think for us, again, it's we have, I've seen the reports on Tatis and things like that. Like, Tatis is one of the best players in baseball. We believe he's, one of the top guys in baseball. He's a 2-time platinum winner. He's a guy that's taken over, portions of seasons and, and games and playoff series and everything like that. And, I think for us to get to where we want to get to, we need Fernando to look up, and we think he can be an A-lane MVP, whatever kind of category you want to put on it. He can be that, that type of player. And I know Craig going down there, Dominican, kind of starting that process of talking to him about, being that kind of player for us this year. And every one of the whiteboards and the different versions and iterations of the team and roster we put up there, it's with Toddy right in the middle is, hopefully, one of the top players on our team this year in terms of the roster build. So, again, we like our group, we like our players, we like the core group that we've signed. Expecting those guys to carry a lot of the production and leadership piece for our team next year.
So is he untouchable?
Dennis said he doesn't like that term, so but he's somebody that again we're not talking about. So however you want to view that, if you want to say that's untouchable, you can say that.
Does that stop teams from asking about him?
No, but that's like any player. That's not just Toddy. That's like any player. Like teams will start the conversation. I know you're not going to talk about this guy, just to let you know if you ever did, we have interest in this guy, and then we go on and talk about, some other players and some other things that are a little more realistic. So.
I believe you once told Mad Dog if someone wanted to trade 2 Tatises for Tatis, we would do it.
That's definitely, that's why I don't think you ever, the idea of covering up the phone and I don't want to listen. You never, ultimately, you see the Herschel Walker trade in other sports, and it's like that's why we're in these jobs, is because you want to you owe it to the organization yourself to at least hear what's out there at this time of year, that kind of any player, any kind of conversation. But again, we got our hit list and our target list, and we have our guys that we feel like are going to be part of our team, and that hasn't changed in these meetings or anything like that, honestly.
That was interesting. That was almost like that sounded, even though it was a press conference, didn't that sound like the leaked audio from the Penn State thing?
Yes, it did.
That was the most casual. Well, I've been blessed enough to be part of some conversations with AJ Preller on the side, where you get to hear him in a way like that. I think a lot of fans have been able to do that as well, where you don't get him as much as a press conference. That was the most relaxed that I've heard AJ. Am I missing something there?
No, he sounds calm, cool, collected. Sounds very in his element. He's not stressing at all.
So I looked at. I look at that audio. I listen and I think of it's everything that we would think that a good general manager would do.
Yeah.
You can't just sit there and just ignore your phone calls when people are calling about your best player. You have to listen.
Right.
That's everybody. That which makes you a good general manager. Bad general managers don't do that. I'm not letting this guy go. Yada, yada. Always got to listen. And he went through the decision process, or the process, if you will, of how those phone calls go. Hey, you're gonna trade Fernando? You got to ask that question. What do you think AJ's doing every time he picks up the phone? I bet you every time he calls the Yankees, he asks about trading for Aaron Judge. I bet you that happens. I wouldn't be surprised. And then Cashman laughs, and then they move on to business. But you always have to keep planting the seed that you're interested in certain opportunities should they come about, because you never know when they might be able to come about.
AJ Preller here. No, I'm not trading Fernando. Anything else? Anything else you're considering?
Because I think it gets to a point where maybe down the road you want to trade somebody, and you go back and you remember the people that said hey, we want to trade. I think the same thing works out for AJ. That was the most casual scrum we have heard at a winter meeting.
Yeah.
But based on what he said, I don't think they're trading Fernando Tatis Jr. Not to say that we ever thought about that. Not to say that we've ever said that might be true. Not that we ever said that he was there's any truth to some of the national reports about the Padres looking to trade. I think you see, this is what I feel with some of these national reports. I think they get the information that the Padres are listening on calls. I bet you they get the information that it's like, hey, we called him about Fernando. He took the call. And reporters spin that into like, and I'm not saying our guys, but I think a lot of the national reporters spin that into they're taking calls on Fernando, which then turns into Padres looking to trade Fernando, which is not even close to being true. It's the game of telephone down the list for a lot of these journalists that want to like stir S up, and you mix in the bloggers and you mix in some of those like, oh, they're going to trade. And then you get all these people at all these other that blog for all these other organizations that have no idea what's been going on. They're just like interpreting certain press clippings, and they start putting together trade packages like, oh, the Yankees are going to get Fernando Tatis Jr.
Yeah, because what's more interesting to listen to? Padres taking calls on Fernando Tatis Jr., taking sarcastic calls about Fernando Tatis Jr., or Padres interested in trading Fernando Tatis Jr. fielding calls. Which one's going to make you watch? It's the second one. That's what you have to do at this time of year, especially when not much happens, especially with how historically slow and boring and monotonous that the baseball offseason usually is.
I think I got a lot of information out of that particular clip. And again, I mean, that was the most that he said ain't happening that we've heard. So now the question becomes, I want to know, I mean, the reports are on this like blockbuster deal, right? Everything's about this block. Like, oh, you gotta have a blockbuster. Oh, he's got a blockbuster. Oh, it's Blockbuster. I mean, I think the movie store's coming back. They've used Blockbuster so many times. But how do you start to figure out what that's going to look like? I mean, he's basically denied that they've denied any report of whether or not they really want to trade. They don't want to trade anybody from the bullpen, his words, because it's an area of strength. They don't necessarily want to trade Nick Pivetta unless it's a big deal, right? Because they need starting pitching. They don't want to trade from the bullpen to improve the starting pitching as an area of strength, as I just mentioned. They don't want to. They've already said that they're not going to trade Fernando Tatis Jr. They're running out of assets to trade, and they don't have the prospect capital, at least we don't think, that can make some of these deals. So, like, what is the wheeling and dealing going on behind the scenes? To me, you got to look at some of this stuff, and you have to start thinking about this is why it's hard to try to guess what AJ Preller's doing. Why is it hard to guess what AJ Preller's doing? I'll tell you when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, Standing Summer Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. 11:18. Gonna catch up on some of the reads here. Remember to listen at 1 o'clock for us to announce today's biggest fan for a chance to qualify for a night in our Odyssey suite at a future Padres game with all the fan staff. Register your name at 97thefan.com/biggest fan in order to potentially have your name called. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. At noon, we are going to have Sam Levitt join us via the phone as he starts to make his way back to San Diego. When is he? Does he fly back today? Tonight?
I don't know. I
stay an extra day in
I
Orlando?
know today's the last day for the winter meeting, so I don't know if he's flying back tomorrow morning or if he's coming back tonight.
The Padres
Not my week to babysit him.
passed on the Major League phase of Rule 5 draft. So no Rule 5 draft picks for the Pods.
As expected.
Now, he was part of a scrum, Sam was, with A.J. Preller, in which he talked about they're not trading Fernando. He danced around the whole untouchable thing to an extent, but this is the most he's ever said about Fernando's being untouchable. And I said, going to break, and we're going to get to this next clip in a second, I said, it's so hard to predict what A.J. Preller is going to do because he thinks so far outside the box. So outside the box. I mean, we've talked about this the last couple of days about how he acquires players that you don't even realize are available. And he moves so many pieces and everything's constantly moving. You have to think you can't just sit there and go oh, he's probably going to trade this guy for prospects. It's never cut and dry like that. It's always something more complex with A.J. Preller. It's always something that is just outside the realm of what everybody thinks is going to actually happen. That's why you don't get a lot of reports about who the Padres are talking to, really. You don't really get a lot of reports on who they're trading. You get some reports on who they might be interested in. And again, it goes back to all of those phone calls that A.J. Preller has and him saying that 99% of the time, they don't even come to fruition. It's a lot of different angles that he works, a lot of different phone calls. He's moving around constantly. People can't figure out what he's doing. So, how's the starting pitching market shaping up for A.J. Preller and company for the San Diego Padres? Because they had said, at least in the article last night, that the Padres don't want to trade away from their strength of the bullpen to improve the starting pitching. They don't want to trade away Fernando Tatis Jr. either. He's basically untouchable. Don't necessarily have the prospect capital to do it, and they don't have the money to sign starting pitching. So what are they going to do in the starting pitching market? This is the biggest need for the Padres. This is where they have to be the most creative. This is what A.J. Preller talked about when it came to Tetsuya Imai and how the starting pitching market is shaping up.
Are you planning to look for a Japanese market, Imai and other players? You have a lot of support too. So.
Yeah, no, it's again, we've had conversations, on some of the players coming from MPB. So yeah, I mean, I think with obviously, with from the starting rotation standpoint of losing Cease and then the Darvish injury, filling those rotation spots is going to be important. We'll continue to have conversation with the agents for the players that are coming from MPB and see if we can line up on something. But it's a very competitive market, so we'll see how it all plays out.
How active is the starting pitchers market at this moment?
Yeah, I mean, it's always a premium on starting pitching. There's just not, it's not a, there's always definitely, not enough supply and a lot of people that, there's a lot of demand and a lot of teams that need to fill starting spots. So, those are always pretty active, aggressive conversations. There's only going to be a limited number of pitchers that can go out there and make 25, 30 starts. So we're engaged. We're in the middle of a few of those conversations and hopefully try to land on something here soon.
It'll be nice to land on something soon, for sure. I think it's going to be interesting to see where they get the starting pitching from, because there's, like mentioned, there's not a lot of guys that could get you 30 starts a year anymore. There's just not. I find it interesting with the way that starting pitching is going. I mean, it's obviously super valuable for a lot of teams because not a lot of people could do it anymore. But at the same time, I mean, in this day and age of baseball, might as well just load up on your bullpen a little bit more at this point. I mean, I know that starting pitching is valuable, but the way that they give away money for guys that don't end up going 20 starts, 30 starts a year, that's a lot of money for a guy that's only going to pitch a little bit.
And again, with the impending lockout coming, why would you go and spend 20, 30 million, 20, $25 million on a guy who could cost you half that much next year? Because they have to comply with salary cap regulations. So that's also got to be weighing in on some of these decisions as far as starting pitching goes.
It's hard to predict what he's going to do because you don't know where he's at and who they're talking to. I mean, the conversation of Nick Pivetta is confusing because they're listening to calls on Nick Pivetta, but unless Nick Pivetta gets them multiple starting pitching, what are you going to do?
It sounds like they're content with running the bullpen into the ground this year, having starting pitching go 4, maybe 5 innings max, and then just running through the bullpen. It sounds like what they're content with this year. Now, whether or not that's true remains to be seen. There's still a lot of offseason left to go. Spring training games don't start until the 19th of February. But that's kind of the direction it's looking like at the moment.
I look at this situation again. This is the problems that AJ Preller's dealing with. And again, like people just go like, "Oh, fire AJ and bring in somebody else." Think about like the stipulations he has right now. So he's got, his estimated payroll according to Fangraphs is for next year is $201 million. The estimated final payroll for 2025 was $211 million. That doesn't account like any type of taxes or fees that they had to pay for the luxury tax and everything like that. So he's got to keep around the same number. So, and I think they said that he's around $20 million. They didn't have like the 20 plus million to sign multiple starting pitchers. So around $20 million is what his budget is. In order to get any type of starting pitching, you got to spend at least $10 to $15 million. Not even 10, really like $15 million. So he's got a budget about $20 million to work with. That's just a guess. We don't actually know how much. And it sounds like the Padres said if things are close, they might add a little bit more. And there's not a set finite budget, but I'm sure there's a ballpark he has to stay in. So let's say he's got a $20 million ballpark worth of spending. He has that. He's got a bullpen that is a strength that they don't want to take away from. And when you look at the bullpen in general for potential trade pieces, the other thing is like they want to, if they're going to make trades, they want to free up some payroll. You're not really freeing up a lot of payroll in the bullpen because nobody in the bullpen's making a lot of money. The only one is Yuki Matsui and Wandy Peralta. And $5.6 million off the books and $4.125 million off the books is not a big savings. It's not worth the savings. Plus, I don't know what you could even get for a guy like Yuki Matsui or Wandy Peralta. Now they've gone in and signed other bullpen arms that are not going to make a lot of money on 1-year deals. But I don't think that's part of the equation. You have to try to upgrade your starting pitching. This is the other ramifications and stipulations that he's got. But you don't have the free agent market's going to be too expensive. And you got to work on trades. Well, who's valuable in trades? Well, that would be like Mason Miller, Jackson Merrill, Fernando Tatis Jr. Those are all valuable guys in trades, but they've already mentioned they're not going to trade Fernando. They've basically said they're not really going to trade Mason Miller. Doesn't sound like that's part of the case. They haven't specifically said that, but they've said that they don't want to trade away from their bullpen, even though they're getting phone calls on David Morgan and Jeremiah Estrada and Adrian Morejon and Mason Miller.
Plum Paul in the chat, we're not talking out of both sides of our mouth. We read a couple of weeks ago a report from Forbes about how much the Padres are putting into payroll from their revenue. The Padres are one of the top
64%.
one of the top 5 teams in baseball, putting 64% of their total revenue back into the team. So yes, they are spending money. There is ways that you have to control that sort of spending, and that is by putting your salary under some sort of budget. You can only take so much out of the grand pie and still get some sort of benefit out of it. So
they've already spent the money that they have.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the point. They do have a limit on how much they can spend. Not everybody can spend aimlessly through. I mean, again, it goes back to the whole well, our owner's worth $3 billion. Therefore, he could probably spend $1 billion and have $2 billion left over. Most of that's not even liquid assets.
Yeah. So no, we're not talking out of both sides of our mouth. They have put 64% of their total revenue back into the roster, which puts them in the top 5 in the league. That is spending money. But you also have to have some sort of control over said spending, which is your budget. It's the same, not just for a baseball team. It's the same for you in your everyday life.
Got to keep spending.
You have to have some sort of budget if you want to have money at the end of the month.
Even if they spent all of their revenue, it still wouldn't be enough. That was the whole point of the conversation of trying to keep up with other teams in Major League Baseball, most notably the one in your division. Even if the Padres spent 100% of their revenue and just decided to not pay anybody else in the organization and just do it for free for the betterment of the team, they'd still be hundreds of millions of dollars short of the Dodgers payroll. But you expect them to do that because you're a fan of the team? When it's somebody else's money, it's funny how people just immediately go they should spend everything that they get. Spend it all for the betterment of me. It's not how it works. It's still a business. They're in the business of making money. You own the team to make some money. They are putting 64% of the revenue, according to Forbes, into the roster. That's better than most teams in Major League Baseball. They are trying, and they're spending money. But sometimes you've spent a lot that you don't have. And they're getting people to show up to games. But even then, not having a lucrative TV contract like some of the other big boy teams do, it's kind of hard to compete with some of these teams. It's very hard. You can't spend money that you don't have. Everybody just assumes that every owner in baseball has unlimited funds. Yes, they have a lot of money, but that doesn't mean they could spend all of it on a team. It doesn't. What they can do, spend all of their money and then they sell the team to break even? At the end of when it's all said and done, it makes no business sense. The TV contracts are what do it. They have bigger populations in those areas that can watch all their games. They can get better money on advertisement sales. They have bigger companies in those areas that can afford to spend on some of these broadcasts. I mean, it is what it is. But they're spending what they got. It's not like they're holding back funds. They're not doing what the Pirates do. They're spending what they're getting. I don't think anybody can really question that when it comes to the Padres. They are spending the money that they have on the roster. If they had a big TV contract and were making, double what they're making now, and they were holding back, I think you would have an argument there. But they're not doing that. I mean, what percentage of their revenue? Again, it's not profit. This is revenue. This is money that they're bringing in before all expenses. How much of that should be spent on player salaries? And it's not that they want to say they chose the TV deal they did. Do you think there's multiple TV companies just knocking on the Padres' door going we're going to give you $500 million? Where does the TV make money on that? Again, I feel like a lot of people just don't understand how these deals work. TV companies want to air your product because your product is popular. And they're going to offer money to air your product so they can do what exactly, Frank, with it? They can sell
advertising.
That's how they make money. That's how ESPN makes money. They sell it during the advertising or cable subscriptions, right? So if you look at the TV. This is the TV. This is how TV works. Television creates content so they can sell ads. If it was up to TV, they would just play ads all day if you would watch that. But nobody wants to watch that. So they put on things that are entertaining that people are going to watch so they can sell ads. And they can tell advertisement companies, hey, we have 100 million people watching this. Hey, we have 20 million people watching this. These are 20 million eyeballs that you can sell to. That costs you this amount of money because they got to try to sell and make money off of what they paid. If you get a TV company to dish out the money on a TV contract, they don't just like give out random numbers.
Did they agree to sign the deal with ESPN? Major League Baseball did.
Major League Baseball did that for them.
Yes. The thing that owns the Padres, that's who did it.
Well, not the thing. I mean,
the
lack of a better term. The entity that's in charge of the TV rights right now put in part of the ESPN thing. They don't have a local company that can just pay the money. They don't own their own TV network that makes tons of money on advertisement sales because they have fans from all over the world. You only have as much as what like your fans are. I mean, if you have a small fan base or you're in a market, again, that's surrounded like San Diego's market is, there's only a finite amount of people that are going to watch your product. Everybody knows what that finite amount of people is. And so they're not going to hash out $1 billion for TV revenue because they're not going to make any of it back in ad sales. TV companies don't just like spend all this money to put the games on and then lose money on the deal. They need to make money off of it, which means they got to sell advertisement. They can't find advertising for their TV product. They're not going to hash out all the money that you see in these TV contracts. ESPN doesn't sign deals with entities just because they want all the sports. They sign deals with entities that they can sell advertising for because people watch it. Why do you think they want the SEC so bad? 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, get you some of the sports thread. We also got some more sound and news coming out of Padres camp out there at the winter meetings. Last day of the winter meetings. We'll keep you updated on anything else that might be in the realm of things as we continue on the Braden Surprenant Show, sending us number one sports station 97.3 The Fan. I have to bring this up. Because we got mascots tweeting S out right now towards Mets fans. It's great.
I love Blooper so much. Blooper is my favorite mascot.
Blooper tweeted out Frank Watch.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
After the whole debacle that was Pete Alonso signing with the Orioles.
And we all know who he's referring to is Frank Fleming, a.k.a. Barstool's Frank the Tank.
Right. And so, and his crash outs are hilarious, dude. I mean, they are so funny.
I sent you the one that he had after Edwin Diaz. Did you understand 3 consecutive legible words?
No.
And we can't play them on air because the only legible words are the ones that are one of the 7. But
here's what I think is funny about this. So with Frank the Tank from Barstool, it feels so bad because Frank is a Mets fan. And Frank the Tank is a Mets fan. And everybody knows about the crash outs that Frank the Tank has. And so off air, I was like, because Blooper's already egging him on, we could just think about our Frank at the same time. And here's what the problem is. They couldn't have found anybody. Does anybody know? I mean, Frank and I do, but does anybody know how Frank the Tank started at Barstool? Go ahead and tell me in the chat. But I'm gonna tell you right now, Frank, the guy that freaks out on he basically is there just to freak out, and his memory's insane.
Yeah, he does have
He was trying to get to Citi Field on opening day. Was it opening day?
Yep.
And the subways were a disaster.
It was Jersey Transit.
The Jersey Transit was a disaster. And so they had a local reporter out there, like, talking to the people. They got, their day got ruined by the New Jersey Transit being a problem. And they found this guy on the news. He just starts having a crash out live on television about the subway, and the Barstool guys find him and bring him in. And that's how he became Frank the Tank. He's also huge. That's what is the thing. He's done a great job of losing a lot of weight, which is awesome. Good for that. Like to see those stories. To which my question is, poor Frank Marchese, who's also a Frank that is a Mets fan. They couldn't have found some crazy guy named Steve or Jim or John, or it had to be Frank.
I'm headcanoning that Blooper was talking about me. I'm just straight up gonna
I think you need to.
Blooper, I love you. Thank you for worrying about my mental well-being.
I like it. But at the same time, it's really? That was an insane crash out. All of them are great.
He got a crash. I forget what it was. He was at the Jets-Dolphins game this weekend. And someone posted a video. He was literally about to take a picture with 2 fans. He was sitting in the middle. And then something happened to one of his teams. I think it was, I don't remember. He's a Dolphins fan. He's a Devils fan. I care less who
he likes Seton Hall.
Yes.
Big Seton Hall guy.
But he said that somebody got hurt for the year or got traded off of one of his teams. And literally, as he's sitting in the middle of these 2 guys about to take a picture with these 2 random people, he just starts melting down. In his seat at MetLife Stadium.
It's amazing.
It's just unreal.
Frank the Tank. My favorite Frank the Tank video is him cooking ribs. That is the funniest S ever. It is so funny.
Him cooking anything is...
He's cooking. He's like, oh, it's my favorite. It's my ribs recipe and all this other stuff. And he puts them on the grill and he cooks them at way too high of a temperature. He comes back out like 3 hours later. He opens up the barbecue, and they are burnt to a crisp, and his reaction is just priceless. I almost feel like they did it to him on purpose. Like he went inside and they went back out there and cranked it up. He was like shocked. It was one of the best videos I've ever seen. What's going on in the sports world that doesn't involve the Padres or the winter meetings? Time to get to today's sports thread before Sam Levitt joins us at noon.
You know that group chat? The one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news?
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk. Brought to you by QC Kinetics. Stop sitting on the sidelines. QC Kinetics gets you back in the game without surgery. To learn how, visit QCkinetics.com.
All righty.
What do we got today, Frank?
We have, we're sticking with Notre Dame. We're staying on the Notre Dame train.
Number 1.
At least
So
for number
fun.
1. Notre Dame Athletic Director Pete Pavakwa acknowledged growing NFL interest in head coach Marcus Freeman, including the New York Giants, but said the school is committed to keeping him long term. Freeman is 43-12 at Notre Dame, and in a recent national title game participant, already earns over $7.4 million annually, and will have his contract adjusted each year to remain among one of the highest paid coaches in college football. Bavakwa emphasized Freeman's value to the program and believes the recent college football playoff snub will fuel him moving forward. Do you think Marcus Freeman should consider an NFL opportunity if it arises, or is staying at Notre Dame the better long-term choice?
Why would he leave Notre Dame? Why would he leave Notre Dame? For
to go
what?
to the
To go to
Giants.
the NFL? I mean, you get paid more in college. It's way better in college. Why? They jump on a sinking ship that's the New York Giants? I mean, you're going to get fired in 3 years anyway. They just gave up the prestigious Notre Dame job. I mean, if you want to get a chance at the NFL, sure, if that's like your big goal. But from a financial standpoint, why would you ever leave Notre Dame? They love you there. You're going to make the play. I mean, you're almost contractually obligated to make the playoffs every single year. Moving forward, why would you ever leave?
Because in such a competitive conference at the
they get to play whoever
wait
they
a
want.
minute.
It's easy. Why would you ever leave Notre Dame?
There's no reason to. There really is no reason to, especially for the Giants.
The only way he does it is if he thinks he can coach the NFL. He just wants to coach the NFL, but he's great for college kids.
Yep.
Great leader of men. Why would you ever leave Notre Dame? It's perfect for him.
With how young the Giants roster is, he may as well be coaching at a college, especially with how some of them act.
Number 2.
The Chicago White Sox have won the 2026 MLB Draft Lottery, securing the number 1 overall pick after entering with the best odds. Hall of Famer Harold Baines represented the team at the event, which came after back-to-back difficult seasons, including an MLB record 121 losses in 2024. The top pick gives general manager Chris Getz a major opportunity to add elite talent, potentially players like UCLA shortstop Brooke Chalosky.
Gesundheit.
To the club's ongoing rebuild. Kansas City and San Francisco were also big movers in the lottery, while the Mets fell to 27 due to luxury tax rules. The Padres will pick 21st. How important is landing the number 1 overall pick to the White Sox rebuilding process, and what factors should the team prioritize deciding which top prospect to get?
I don't really think that. I mean, the draft to me, it's so hit and miss with high school kids and college kids, and I get international signings. I mean, I don't know. Is it better to draft college kids now than it is to draft high school kids?
I mean,
how? I mean, the draft's cool, but it's not. It's hard to get fired up for the draft,
especially the baseball draft, because you don't know any of these kids.
You don't know, and they're not going to play on the team for years, right? It's not a huge thing.
a lot of them opt out to go to college. I mean, the baseball draft is the worst of the four major sports.
Yeah.
By far and away the worst.
Number 3.
NHL Deputy Commissioner Bill Daley said the league will not allow players to compete in the 2026 Milan Olympics if the ice conditions are unsafe. Construction delays and irregular rink dimensions have raised concerns, but Daley said in recent updates are encouraging. The NHL is sending ice experts to help finish the rink with testing scheduled for early January. Although the rink is slightly smaller than NHL standards, players have indicated that is not a major issue. There's currently no backup plan if the venue is not ready, but Daley said the league would develop solutions if needed. If the ice is not going to be ready to play on, how much time does the NHL need to give these countries to get other teams together that were supposed to be made up of NHL talent?
Hang on a second. So the NHL, if this is not ready, they're going to pull their players from the Olympics? Is that what they're saying? I mean, I don't know.
Which leaves 2 or 3 weeks of no hockey, period.
Yeah, because they're not going to just schedule games.
Yeah, no.
There's just going to be nothing on.
Yeah, and they're not going to change the schedule around because that's why you're seeing so many games clustered together this year.
I was going to say, I feel like the Ducks are playing like every night.
Yeah, it's because they're taking 3 weeks off, and I think it's February for the Olympics. The NHL shuts down for 3 weeks for the Olympics.
I think they what's it called? I think they're going to figure it out. I
believe so too, but
they'll find some way to do this. It's too much. There's too much money and stuff at stake for them not to do this. I mean, it's not these international things like FIFA and the Olympic Committee are just. I mean, they're all sorts of not organized.
Yeah,
all sorts of not organized is what they are. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to be nice.
I mean,
all sorts of not organized.
But
if you want to use the C word, go ahead.
But that is, well, for FIFA, absolutely.
FIFA especially.
But that is a big problem, like for USA hockey and Canada hockey, because a lot of those teams are going to be completely NHL stars. You have like other countries like Czechia that might be kind of a split, but that is a big problem.
Number 4.
Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier has pleaded not guilty to federal wire fraud and money laundering conspiracy charges tied to an alleged gambling scheme. Prosecutors say Rozier helped friends win bets by tipping them off that he would leave a March 2023 Hornets game early. He was released on $3 million bond, but must avoid gambling and firearms, and surrendered his passport. Any chance he plays in the NBA again if he is found not guilty of any of this? If he's exonerated, is there any shot?
I guess. I don't know. He's probably going to get suspended for a long time for that, just for even getting himself into this problem and tainting the NBA's image. Maybe he will. Maybe he won't. Maybe Sam Levitt will join us next. Who knows?
San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
New lunchtime hour on 97.3 The Fan. And after we've been joined by him in the 11 o'clock hour for the last couple of days, they're wrapping up the winter meetings in Orlando, which means Sam needs to start getting ready to start heading back to San Diego, or maybe spending some time at home in the New York area. And we are pleased to be joined by Sam Levitt again to give us another update, and the last update of the week from the MLB winter meetings. Joining us via telephone today is Sam Levitt. Sam, what's going on? How's your Wednesday going out there in Orlando?
Oh, I'm good, Braden. Appreciate you asking. How's my guy Frank holding up there? He holding up all right there?
Not very well, Sam. He we got the news as we were coming into the room, into the studio. It happened literally right before we started the show.
Mm-hmm.
Paul peeked his head through the door and said, "Passing bomb to start your show." And he said, "Alonso to Baltimore." And then he closed the door, and then a nuclear explosion went off in studio. He had to throw some things. He had to scream a little bit. He's feeling a lot better now, Sam. But if you want to give Frank a message about the Pete Alonso news, the floor is yours.
I'm holding up. I'm holding up about as well as a wet piece of paper right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to understand. Look, obviously the big news of the day. I think it's a great signing for the Orioles. It's nice to see them spend and really aggressively go after a free agent. I think you can make the case from a Padres standpoint. Nice to have Alonso out of the National League. I think from a Mets standpoint, it's been a really, really sort of weird, rough 24 hours between Diaz and now Alonso. And you're not only talking about, I think fan favorites there in New York, but you're also just talking about good players, and the Mets really being unwilling to seemingly like go all out to keep these guys. So, I don't know. To me, Alonso, he's not a perfect player, but 40 home runs, 120 RBIs does not grow on trees. So it'll be interesting to see what their plan is. But Pete Alonso to Baltimore, another big signing here at the meeting.
What is the before we start diving into some of the stuff? You had some great stuff with AJ Preller in a little bit of a scrum. I thought that was the first time that we actually got to see a more candid AJ, that like we would be able to talk to off air without any cameras or any type of audio record. That's kind of how that really felt like. It seemed like it was it almost seemed like you were wiretapping AJ Preller. That's how candid he seemed during that little scrum. I mean, you hear Dennis Lynn in the background. I thought you guys were all meeting in a boardroom. That's what it sounded like when we played it back. But, to me, it seemed like he was the most calm that we've heard AJ. And, he had some information about whether or not they want to trade Fernando Tatis Jr. They're listening to phone calls. And he really squashed it down for as much as AJ would, Sam.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, he will not, and no surprise, and he's just not going to do it. He's not going to come out and, and emphatically say, we would never. And he's not going to do that for any player. That is not AJ Preller's way. It's not the way he does business. But you're right. He went probably as far as you're going to hear AJ go, to say that, they're not trading Fernando Tatis Jr. Now, at the same time, he also explained, as you, I think, played, kind of part of the process that teams do call and they do say, something to the effect of, we know you're not going to want to talk about him, but, if you ever are, we're going to be interested in such and such player. And I'm sure they've got that call about Fernando, many calls about Fernando because of, the friendliness at this point, quite frankly, of his contract, the Padres payroll, for a variety of reasons. So look, I think with AJ, you have to very much be in a mind state of never say never. He's never going to come out and emphatically say that somebody's off the table. He's not going to do it about any of his guys. But you're right. I would put it as highly, highly, highly unlikely that Tatis gets traded. Never say never, obviously, but I suppose from that standpoint, it was good to hear AJ get as close as he's going to get to kind of telling you that he's off the table.
We're talking with Sam Levitt, who's has his final day in Orlando at the winter meetings. This is kind of the cool down day. And once they do the Rule 5 draft, it seems like everybody departs. That's what, at least in the couple of times that I've covered the winter meetings, that has been the case. Let's talk about the pitching standpoint for the Padres, Sam. Obviously, again, you talked with A.J. Preller one-on-one. You talked with him in the scrum. And the report from Kevin Acee last night was alluding to the Padres don't really want to pull from their strength, their bullpen, in order to improve their weakness, starting pitching. There's been some conversations about Nick Pivetta. Obviously, Mason Miller has received some phone calls that the Padres have on Mason Miller and all the big bullpen arms. What did A.J. Preller have to say about the pitching staff, both bullpen and starting pitching, this week in Orlando?
Yeah, look, I don't know that we got any additional clarity today or really in the last 48 hours about, how exactly they're going to go about this. I think all avenues are open. I think there's a full possibility that this offseason plays out how the last couple have from a starting pitching standpoint. Even going back to the last couple, you even can look back to 2023. Remember how late they signed a guy like Michael Wacha, how late they signed Nick Pivetta last year. I'm kind of expecting that you're probably going to have a situation or two like that where this is a late developing off season, and I do anticipate they will try to find this year's Nick Pivetta, this year's Michael Wacha. I think that makes a lot of sense based on the payroll situation and how AJ typically works and his ability to find value in guys that maybe are not the high end of the market from a price standpoint. But look, it begs the question, Braden, if you're not going to be super active in free agency, if you don't have a ton of money to spend, well, how are you going to add the starting pitching that you so clearly need? And it goes to the conversation of feeling from a position of strength. The feeling I get is that I think, of course, the Padres would prefer not to deal bullpen arms and weaken what is a great bullpen. However, it is a spot where they have a lot of quality there and a lot of really good arms. And could you make the case? I'm just throwing a name out there. This is not me reporting anything. Could you make the case that, just for example, let's say a Jeremiah Estrada could get you something really nice in return, or a package that included a guy like that, and your bullpen would be just fine without him? Yeah, right. Jeremiah, think about him. Again, just an example. He's somebody who is under team control. He's somebody who profiles as a future closer, certainly has the stuff to do it, certainly has the strikeout capability to do it. And the way I look at it is you could move a guy like that and your bullpen's going to be just fine. So, look, do I think they want to weaken their bullpen? Of course not. But may they be in a position where they have to consider things like that? I think that's very much in the realm of possibility. So it's going to be fascinating. I don't know that any of this is going to happen super soon. It may be late developing, but I do believe they're exploring all avenues in order to, at the end of the day, get what they need, which obviously primary need right now is starting pitching.
I'm going to ask a follow-up on that, because the other thing that was laid out in this article by Kevin Acee last night, and obviously A.J. Preller has spoken to the media since then, is the sense that, well, also with the bullpen, yes, that it might be an area of strength, but for an organization that might want to rearrange payroll is how I'm going to phrase it. You're not really freeing up too much payroll if you trade away any of your bullpen arms, which then leads to, well, now let's go back to the position players. A.J. Preller has mentioned that they, not really interested in trading away Fernando. I can't imagine them being interested in trading a Jackson Merrill. And you start looking at contracts to potentially part ways with. Nick Pivetta has been mentioned, but then you're taking one of your weakest spots and making it even weaker unless you bring a big arsenal back. They've talked about blockbusters and everything like that. That, as AJ Preller has mentioned, not a lot of those come to fruition. Just kind of ideas most of the time. But from a standpoint of trying to improve the payroll, reconfigure the payroll, based on your new information that you've gathered, I mean, there's not a lot of options out there for the Padres to potentially do that. What are you hearing on that front?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I heard anything new today, but look, I do think there is a sense here, as I've said the last couple of days, that, anything is possible, okay, from, could you look to free up what is pretty significant money, $19 million in a Nick Pivetta, as counterintuitive as it is to try to build a rotation by trading away the guy who is going to start for you on opening day right now in all likelihood. It does free up money, and it does provide the kind of financial flexibility, to your point, Braden, that in few cases you could move a guy where you'd free up that kind of money. To your point, when you look at the Padres payroll, if you're looking to free up a lot of money, I mean, you know where you're looking, and I just, it's very hard for me to stand here and say, with any amount of certainty, like, hey, they're about to do something franchise altering when you talk about the top players on this team. So, Braden, I'm with you. The answer is a little unclear because on one hand, freeing up payroll would do them good. On the other hand, how you do that without creating other holes is a very interesting question, and that's sort of the crux of the issue for AJ Preller, and how they go, we'll find out as the offseason rolls along.
There's a couple other things that I want to talk to you about for you. Obviously, get everything packed up and head your way either to home or to San Diego, your other home. We got a report that Padres might be one of the teams that are interested in Braden Doyle. What would, yeah, exactly. So if that is your first time hearing it, they're listed as one of those teams that have checked in with the Rockies, and we know what that means when it comes to AJ Preller. No stone goes unturned. I mean, he could be doing this with a lot of other organizations, but what is your initial reaction to Braden Doyle and how that might fit with the Padres, or what might be, matriculating behind the scenes?
Yeah, I mean, I had not seen that, but my immediate reaction would be like fourth outfield type, right? Yes. I think your outfield, unless there's something happening, that's pretty major. I mean, your outfield's pretty set. Laureano, Merrill, Tatis, okay? So, Braden Doyle would strike me as, more of a fourth outfield type, bench guy. He's a San Diego guy, right, Braden? Am I wrong? Am I right on that? Or am I off on that?
I'd have to look it up.
Maybe he's not. Maybe I'm making that up. Or maybe I'm thinking about another Rocky. I don't know.
Well, there's a lot of Rockies that are San Diego guys, so you wouldn't.
Yeah,
be,
Braden
Doyle.
I'm thinking.
He's from West Virginia.
Oh, okay. So I know who is the Rocky recently that you know pretty well.
Sean Bouchard is the one I played with in high school.
That's what I'm thinking about. Sean Bouchard.
And then Michael Tolia is his wife is from San Diego. But aside from that, that was basically it. But yes, not to digress from that.
Yeah, got it. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, my immediate reaction without looking like at any of what he actually did last year by the numbers, just playing the Rockies a bunch and seeing them, would be kind of a depth, I suppose bench outfield type piece. So, hey, look, you're going to need those kinds of guys, and, wouldn't shock me if they, spend a little bit of money on something like that.
I think there's a lot of moving parts, and I think it's a fool's errand to try to guess what AJ Preller is going to do, because it's always so complex and so out of the ordinary, and so in a sense of, I didn't know that guy was available kind of attitude.
Right.
Always it seems to be the case. So I know we got to talk about it because it's entertaining and it's fun, and that's what we are. But at the same time, it's very difficult to try to pinpoint. So I don't really want to ask you any more about, what you might be able to come up with, because the reality is whatever we think is cut and dry of what they might be doing with some of these rumors, it's usually way more complex than that when the trades actually do happen and things come about. If you want to weigh in on that, that's great. I also got one other question for you when it comes to the news that the Padres have.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Look, it's it's always tough, and to his credit, AJ keeps things very close to the vest, and he now has this very long track record of doing things you don't expect and doing big things. So I'll say this, based on some of the reporting here and some of the conversations I've had here, look, is it always going to be possible that there's a big blockbuster looming? Yeah, it's always going to be possible with AJ. I don't know if that's going to be a reality this offseason. But I do think when you talk about AJ and the Padres that, it opens up the possibility to anything being possible. And I do think AJ is naturally kind of that kind of general manager. So we'll see. You're spot on. It's hard to predict. It's hard to know. It's part of what makes it exciting. It's part of what makes it, I don't know what the heart racing as well. So we'll see how it all plays out.
Makes it very entertaining during the offseason, I tell you that. All the rumors and everything like that.
Entertaining, that's the good word. That's
entertaining.
The right word.
It's definitely entertaining. We got the word today that the Padres and the Diamondbacks are going to be playing in Mexico City again this year. What do you have to report on that particular matchup? Is it a home game for both teams, one each? What's the latest on the Mexico City series?
Braden, I don't know. I have to look into it, see if I would assume it's a home game for both teams. I'm trying to jog my memory of who they played the last time they were in Mexico City. Who was that they played down there? Now I can't even remember.
I think they played the Giants there. They played the
Giants.
They've played the Dodgers there before.
I'm trying to remember if that was a home and home. I think it was, because the whole year we were kind of doing the home numbers, and it's actually funny because I remember always looking at the home statistics and being like, well, you actually have to go and look at Petco Park because one of these games didn't actually happen at home.
Yeah, one of the games they scored 1,000 runs didn't actually happen here.
Exactly. That was the problem. So I haven't looked into it. I would assume it's 1-1 as far as home games, but don't quote me on that. I certainly don't know that for a fact, but it'll be a cool experience. I mean, it sounds like everybody really enjoyed their experience there last time they went, and it's two teams that are, I guess as close as you're going to get to Mexico City in the U.S. So, it should be fun for sure. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, Sam, what's the final schedule for you the rest of the day? You flying out today, flying out tomorrow? What's on the Sam Levitt docket today?
Flying out tonight. So I am about to hop in an Uber here to the airport in just a little bit. And let's just cross our fingers that nothing happens between now and the end of tonight. That would have Adam Klug very, very unhappy. But I think Adam would agree, based on winter meetings past, that the move is leaving tonight. It's the move is leaving tonight, and you kind of cross your fingers that nothing crazy happens before the end of tonight.
Yeah, once the Rule 5 draft happens, if you're still sitting around, it's time to get out of there.
For sure. Yeah, day 3, the Wednesday, for sure, is much less hectic than the first 2 days. Like it starts clearing out. So it's definitely the right move. But, hey, if you are an Orioles reporter and you left this morning, well, you got a bit of a problem, right? Or you're even a Mets reporter and you left this morning. So you don't want to leave too early. I never leave early in the day, but I usually schedule the flight for, sometime in the early evening, and gives you a while to see what happens here.
Well, Frank and I are going to be trading places with you on the East Coast as we fly by each other later on this evening. So safe travels, Sam, back to San Diego, wherever you're going. And we look forward to talking to you, hopefully, with some Padres news later on this week or maybe next week.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. Have a good trip.
Thank you very much, Sam. Safe travels to you as well. See, Frank, I know you're talking to Sam. He's a lot better spirits than I want to know. Sam probably already he's had some time to cool off.
Yeah, that.
You think his family's calling him about the whole thing?
The news broke. We went on air. That was it.
Yeah.
Not the news broke. 2 hours go by, and then we go on.
Like it breaks last night, and then you can crash out at night.
Yeah.
Joel Sherman reports the Mets never made an offer as it became clear to them that Alonso was getting bids of more than what they wanted to offer. Thank you, Joel. That was it just flashed off, so I got to go back and find it because MLB Network had it on there. Was that Ron Darling? Is that the guy in the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in flabbergasted, they said. Flabbergasted. Mets never made an offer as it became clear to them that Alonso was getting bids for more dollars in years than in their comfort zone. Richest owner in baseball, comfort zone.
No, that's the general manager. That's David Stearns.
David Stearns, who's been used to dealing with low budgets in Milwaukee.
Yep.
Come on, man. Well, we'll see what happens with that. Frank had to change the TVs, so I get to watch the Pete Alonso highlight packages all day, and he can watch football.
Bayern Leverkusen versus Newcastle.
I will say this. We were talking about this off air. There's a situation that Frank might have to stumble into when we get to Baltimore that might be hilarious. We'll talk about it when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, Standings Over on Sports Station 97 through the Fan. 12:26. It's a long week this week. A lot going on. I forgot, by the way, I got more stuff to do that I'll tell you about later.
Oh, good.
Yeah, great. That I forgot to get out of, which is fun. So anyway, that's that.
I forgot to get out of.
Yeah, for other reasons. So we were thinking about this off air. I find it ironic that we're flying to Baltimore the night that the Orioles signed Pete Alonso from the New York Mets. But this has a Curb Your Enthusiasm scene written all over it, or Seinfeld scene.
Can you just say before the Orioles did the thing? Can you not repeat it every time? Can you just say
it's the biggest
before
news in
the
sports
Orioles
today?
did the thing?
Hey, Birdland.
Hey, Birdland.
That was Frank's favorite drop until about 2 hours ago. And now it's his least favorite drop. I'm surprised he still has it in the system.
No, that's...
Nate loves it. Hey, Birdland. So great. This has we leave at 7 tonight, fly to Salt Lake, got about an hour and 45-minute layover in Salt Lake, and then we take the 11 o'clock flight to Baltimore. We get in at 6 in the morning. I already know I was going to go. The hotel is by Camden Yards. Staying at the Sheraton Inner Harbor, which usually is one of the team hotels. So we're either going to be an Army's hotel or Navy's hotel, Frank. It's got views of Camden Yards.
Oh, goody.
I already can picture it now. Frank's going to get into his hotel room. He's going to be tired from taking the red eye, right? Maybe slept on the plane a little bit. Opens up his blinds, get ready to start a Thursday. And it's just a, welcome, Pete, to Birdland. And it's just a giant billboard outside his hotel room. Pete Alonso could be staying there when he does his press conference. Oh, could you imagine? Frank goes down to the lobby. We got to walk because our broadcast site is walking distance to the hotel. It's at the convention center, which is right next door. Frank is leaving the lobby and Pete Alonso's walking in. I mean, this has a Larry David scene written all over it, where Frank just starts MFing Pete Alonso outside the hotel.
Oh, no, I'm not.
No. That'd be hilarious. And then I go where is Frank? He got detained for screaming at Pete Alonso. You're going to have to do this without a producer today. I'm just telling you, it just would be so fun. I mean, for a fact, when you land in Baltimore, they're going to already have Pete Alonso jerseys on sale at the Orioles store. He had to flip the TVs because he was tired of watching the Pete Alonso highlight tape on MLB Network. And he has to fly to Birdland.
And you know what? It doesn't help because I'm so used to looking over at that TV that's the first TV I look over at.
Hey, they're talking about Kyle Schwarber right now, though. You're going to be okay. You're going to be filming Pete Alonso walking onto the field for the first time while Frank is watching from the hotel window. He's just going to... You know what it is? It's the Squidward meme. Frank's going to be in his hotel, staring outside the window into Camden Yards and seeing Pete Alonso frolicking with the Orioles mascot. It's the Squidward meme in real life. That is hilarious. It's a good call, Juan. I feel bad saying it, but it's kind of funny. Come on, Frank. It's kind of funny.
So much for saying I can't make fun of him today because he's already so broken. Juan, thanks, bud.
That is hilarious.
Appreciate
though.
you.
He is the Squidward. Juan, I'm gonna need you to make that meme get a photo of some of Camden Yards from a different room, and then Photoshop Frank in there looking, or Squidward, and put Frank's face on it, and then Patrick and SpongeBob with Pete Alonso's face and the Orioles logo. Oh, that is hilarious. I didn't even think about that. That's even funnier. I mean, luckily for you, Frank, you can't see inside Camden Yards from your hotel. You could just see it in the distance.
Yeah, that's better.
Hopefully we get a welcome to Birdland from the press conference. Welcome to Birdland.
Hey, Birdland.
I love it. I feel bad, but also it's at the point now where Frank is internally laughing his ass off right now, so I feel okay about it. He knows it's funny.
I am.
You know
it
the
is.
Squidward
It is
meme
funny.
right now is
It
funny.
is funny. Yeah.
That is hilarious.
No, it is. It's hilarious. Yeah.
And again, Frank's not mad at the Orioles or Pete Alonso. He's mad at the New York Mets for not even offering him. I mean, you can't be mad at Pete Alonso for moving on when he didn't even get an offer.
No.
Didn't even get an offer. Mets never made an offer as it became clear to them that Alonso was getting bids for more dollars in years than in their comfort zone. That is the report from Joel Sherman.
I just realized I'm charging my phone with a charger that's not plugged in.
Let's just keep adding it to the day. You know what? You might have to take a different flight. The day started for Frank today, getting a text
at 5 o'clock in the morning,
a.m.
confirming the ride from the airport to the hotel
in Baltimore.
My thought with that is,
it's an automated thing.
No, I understand. I completely understand it's automated. You're sending it to somebody who is flying from San Diego to Baltimore. So you would have to think that person is not in your time zone. Why?
I don't think AI figured that part out.
Like, come on, man.
So it started with that, and then the news, and then he got a nosebleed.
Yeah, I got a nosebleed from.
He's charging his phone, but it's not working because it's not plugged in. This is why the engineers go, is it on? Well.
No, the last 5 or 6 times I've looked, the thing has been plugged in. So I just plugged the charger into my phone today, and I just happened to look over in the middle of this segment and
added to the list.
Saw it wasn't there.
You know what though? Angie the dog is here.
And yes, Angie is here
to save Frank's day.
That outweighs
everything else.
No, that outweighs the phone not charging because the thing wasn't plugged in.
You think you're having a rough day?
Yeah.
The University of Utah in the next couple of years might be having rough days.
If anyone listening out there, if you think you're having a rough day, just remember, you're not me.
It could have been worse. He could have signed with the Yankees for a 2-year deal. That would have been worse.
That would have been worse.
What's worse, him signing with the Yankees or signing with the Phillies?
Philadelphia, are you kidding me?
Philadelphia is way worse than the Yankees because you got to deal with them all the time.
Yes.
I don't see you hate watch Philly as much as you hate watch the Yankees.
Because I try to ignore the fact that Philadelphia even exists.
All right. Fair enough. I guess it could have been worse. What about the Braves?
Yeah, that's not good either.
Not good either. Marlins? That would have been kind of funny.
That's just as bad as Baltimore.
It's probably just as bad as Baltimore. Was there any team that he signed with that would have been better? Oh, the Red Sox. You said the Red Sox would have been fine?
If he goes to Boston, fine. That's a big name team with money. I get it.
Toronto,
fine.
Contender.
Big name team with money, contender, get it.
Kansas City.
No. Sorry.
Still equally upset.
If he went to San Francisco, fine.
The Braves would have been funny because Adam walking in with a Pete Alonso jersey would have been hilarious. That would have been just like stirring the pot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we talked about this yesterday. We got some more details on it. The future of college football. We're gonna talk about Utah and the deal they made with the devil. when we come back. And then in the 1 o'clock hour, we're going to reset, play a lot of things from AJ Preller that were mentioned earlier on the show. Sam Levitt did a good job of tracking him down. He had some interesting things on the starting pitching market, but also on what they're listening on. And if they're listening on calls on Fernando Tatis Jr. We'll talk about that later on the show as well as we go to break. On the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Summer Sports Station 97 through the Fan. This holiday season, too many San Diegans will go hungry. Join 97 through the Fan and support the San Diego Food Bank. Donate food directly online through our Odyssey San Diego Food Fund, where every donation helps feeds local families. Go to 97 through the fansd.com/food fund and give today. Don't have too many updates today for the winter meetings. Today's the day. I mean, it's the last day, so it starts to die down a little bit. The biggest news, obviously, was the Pete Alonso news today. And after that, that's basically it. We also got a report from the Cleveland Guardians from earlier today. The Cleveland Guardians will almost never be highly active early in an offseason. Their total payroll last year was about $100 million, or about 2/3 of what the Phillies just gave Kyle Schwarber, but they'll likely be more active later in the winter as the free agent market fluctuates. There are about 100 unsigned relievers, and the Guardians will probably get involved there at some point as the costs begin to drop. And while Cleveland will listen to offers for left fielder Steven Kwan, who is 2 seasons from free agency, their intention is to keep him into next season. Kwan, who's 28, is a 2-time All-Star and 4-time Gold Glove winner. That's the only other moves or news that we have today, aside from the Mets not having Pete Alonso anymore, or Edwin Diaz, or Brandon Nimmo. Be a little bit different of a team.
You
know what?
You keep
when you
poking.
get to Baltimore, there's gonna be some radio stations from New York. You guys can reminisce over the New York Mets news. You guys can talk about it. Guys can bitch, moan, and complain again.
Speaking of Baltimore, we're going there for one of the most played games of all time.
Prestigious.
Which, well, it's prestigious. There's also, they've done it many, many, many times. And I'll say that will be a hint if you want to call in for the midday sports standoff today.
833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. If you can call in and take me down in sports trivia, you'd be qualified for a shot at our grand prize: 2 tickets to New Kids on the Block in Las Vegas on June 26th, a 2-night stay at Park MGM, and a $100 gas card. Calling all blockheads. New Kids on the Block just announced 2026 dates for their Right Stuff Las Vegas residency at Dolby Live at Park MGM. Don't miss all of your favorite hits. This are live in Vegas with New Kids on the Block. Happens February through October of 2026. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Give us a call. Take me down in sports trivia. Involves college football today. You think you can do it? You can potentially win a chance to go to Vegas, which we haven't had too many qualifiers this month, and we don't have too many more opportunities moving forward. So
less opportunities as well because of the Christmas break at the end of the year.
That's right, because of shows and everything like that. So let's see if we got a contestant there. We got a couple people.
I think, yeah, we got some here.
All right, we'll see if we can get to that. Let me know when. I will let you play the open when we are ready for a contestant, as we will get that going here. When we come back at 1 o'clock, we're going to replay some of the stuff from AJ Preller earlier today. We're going to talk about that Utah private equity situation. That's kind of crazy. And then Philip Rivers got introduced today in front of the media. What did Philip Rivers have to say about returning to Indianapolis? He might start on Sunday. We'll talk about that and some things to watch for in the National Football League to finish up the show. We got a contestant ready to go?
Yes, we do.
Let's get to the Midday Sports Standoff.
Welcome to Midday Sports Standoff on the Braden Surprenant Show.
I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
The ultimate head-to-head battle where sports knowledge and quick thinking collide.
No, it's no good. Are you kidding me?
Contestants will go toe-to-toe with Braden in a sports trivia deal where every correct answer brings them closer to victory.
Down the sideline! Wow! Unbelievable!
But 3 strikes and it's game over.
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Can you outsmart Braden? The Midday Sports Standoff starts now.
All righty.
Who we got playing today?
Ready to go. We have Hector in San Diego. Hector, how you doing today, bud?
Good afternoon, fellas. Good. How about yourself?
Good. All right. So today's topic, as we mentioned, Army-Navy has been played a bunch. What are the top 10 most played games between 2 common opponents in college football history? Now, I will say,
are they all rivalries?
Not all of them, But
Okay, and
like
they-
not. Hold on. It's just current Division One, like
FBS.
Yale. Yeah, FBS.
Harvard, Yale's not on there.
Harvard, Yale will not count. Any of the Ivy League games like Harvard, Yale, Brown, that will not count. That's not on this list.
Gotcha.
So Hector, you have the first go.
Like Alabama, Georgia, or
That
I
could be
don't
a
know. I
guess.
mean, I
Yeah,
have no
that
clue. I'm
that
just
could
taking a
be
shot.
that could be a guess. Yes.
Yeah, that's Alabama and Georgia.
Alabama, Georgia is not on the list.
Can we get the game threshold?
So
how many games did the 10th matchup play,
the
and how many
10th
games
matchup-
did the top matchup play?
the top matchup has played 135 times. The bottom matchup, or there were two tied for the bottom matchup at 122.
Okay. Well, that's unfortunate because TCU Baylor has played 121 times. So that's just off. I'm going to go with, is Army Navy on the list? There you
Navy
go.
is on the list.
Commander-in-Chief Trophy.
They're
Army
number-
Navy game.
they're
They've
number
played
8.
125 times.
Yes, they have. Hector,
Yes.
your next pick.
I'm gonna say Notre Dame, since they're old school. But who was it against? Who's Notre Dame?
Could be a lot of different teams there.
Notre Dame. Five hours.
I can.
Michigan. I'm just say Notre Dame, Michigan. I'm just throwing it out there.
No, not Notre Dame, Michigan. Go ahead, Braden.
Let's go with the other guess I was going to go with because it's in the name. It's the Deep South's oldest rivalry, Georgia and Auburn.
Georgia and Auburn is number 2 on the list. They played 130 times. Hector?
Yes. Who else? The UC. I'm saying the Trojans and Trojans and UCLA. I guess UCLA, US, whatever.
USC, UCLA, not on there.
Hector, I'll give you another strike because the first one was without the threshold. So I'll give you another chance. Go ahead, Braden.
Stanford, Cal.
Cal Stanford has played 128 times.
The big game, Battle for the Axe.
Hector?
Oh no, that's tough. I'm just trying to think of. Let me see here. I'm gonna say Tennessee. Tennessee. For my reason, popped up. Volunteers and who would they play though? I don't know.
Yeah, I can already tell you, Hector.
Tennessee's not on there.
Tennessee would not have been on the list. So that was, unfortunately, a straight whiff.
It's all right.
Anyone else?
What about the old Oaken Bucket, Purdue and Indiana?
Purdue and Indiana have played 127 times. Number 7 on the list. Bless you.
All right. I'm just starting thinking of like names in the trophies. Paul Bunyan's axe. I don't remember who's in that. Who's in that?
Well, that doesn't help me.
Paul Bunyan's axe. Oh, Minnesota, Wisconsin. Paul Bunyan's axe.
Minnesota, Wisconsin is the most commonly played game in college football. Well, in this ranking in FBS history at 135.
Jake had one earlier. I'd said the Deep South's oldest rivalry. What about the South's oldest rivalry? North Carolina, Virginia.
They are number 3 at 130. So we're missing 2, 4, 9, and 10.
What about the Sunflower Showdown? Kansas and Kansas State.
That's 9.
The old oil can has not been played enough. The other one I think would be in-state, but they're not in the same conference. The Palmetto Bowl. Palmetto Bowl? That's hard to say. It's Clemson and South Carolina.
South Carolina Clemson is one of the 2 I would have taken for number 10.
What about the Egg Bowl?
Any names?
Oh, it's Ole Miss and Mississippi State.
That's the other one that I would have taken because they both played 122
No,
teams.
I mean, you could have said top 11.
Well, but
Nikki P in the chat says the old Civil War, which would be Oregon and Oregon State, which is now the Northwest Championship.
that is number 4. They played 129 times.
So what are we missing here?
We are missing. We're missing 6. We're missing 6.
Number 6?
Yeah. I'll give you a hint. They are not in a conference together.
No.
They do not share a conference currently.
Missouri, Kansas?
Nope.
Okay.
Big 12 is one of the teams.
There's no way.
The MAC is the other.
Oh, and the MAC? Oh, God. It's got to be like Cincinnati or West Virginia or something like that over there.
Cincinnati is one
Cincinnati.
of the teams.
Who in the world? Like Cincinnati, Ohio?
Miami of Ohio.
Cincinnati
yes.
and Miami of Ohio.
Yes, that has been played 128 times.
That was played 128 times. What's the last time it was played? 2024.
Yep, 2024.
What do they play for? I can't believe Missouri and Kansas is on there.
Yeah, I was surprised at some of them. Like Michigan, Ohio State's is not in the top 10 at least.
I'm gonna look up the list. Oh yeah, TCU Baylor is like one game away. Yeah, like the sweet spot is 121 here. Kansas, Missouri, Tennessee, Kentucky, Michigan, Ohio State, TCU, Baylor,
I was just
Texas,
going for
Oklahoma.
the 10. I wasn't looking for the matchups. I was looking to make sure they were FBS schools currently,
Right. No, I know.
and then the top 10.
Georgia, Georgia Tech, Illinois Northwestern, Minnesota, Iowa. These are all like just outside of 122. The 121 threshold is Missouri, Kansas, the border war, Tennessee, Kentucky, Michigan, Ohio State, TCU, Baylor, Texas, Oklahoma. And then the 120 is Tennessee, Vanderbilt, and Texas A&M. How many times has San Diego State played Fresno State, I wonder? There was a lot of years where they weren't in the same conference, though. Like, that eliminates...
See, this was kind of like a backup topic for me because I was looking for the most commonly played national championship games. But it refused to give me that, and this popped up. I'm like, well, that works just as well.
Iron Skillet played 104 times. The Holy War, 103 times. Has San Diego State and Fresno State even played 100 times? Jake Waters blew his mind with the Cincinnati, Miami of Ohio game.
There you go.
When we come back, last report for the winter meetings. 1 o'clock on a Wednesday. That show blew by. Anybody want to see this again?
No, we don't.
I think we do.
No, we don't.
I think we do.
Fine. No.
What a great job by Juan. on the meme that we talked about
Go
earlier.
Aztecs. Go Aztecs rightfully asked a very valid question. He goes, with how quickly you two got that put up, where in the world are the break videos?
They're on YouTube.
They are on YouTube. The problem is they're not on.
Put them on StreamYard. Yeah. We got to put that list together. That's a good project for the winter break.
That sounds like a. There's a couple of things we would like to do for the new year. Revamping for the new year.
New opens, new billboards, a lot of that stuff. A lot of it. But hats off to Juan. It's good stuff. All guests on 97 through the Fan join us in the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys helping good people regain control of their future when charged with the crimes since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. We're going to talk some college football and some NFL here later on in this hour, but we do want to, for anybody that's just tuning in, we do want to talk about some of the things that A.J. Preller mentioned in a scrum with the media earlier today. Cole, that's not
wrong billboards.
Billboard. Opening billboards are like the audio you hear with
the opening music.
San Diego, all that stuff.
Close though.
Bigly. Close.
Very close.
Just like Sam on the Brenton Doyle being a San Diegan. Is he from San Diego? He's from West Virginia. Close.
Hey, close.
What is it from again? It's the funniest thing.
That's a Ron White thing.
Yeah, we got to get that. We got to get that as a drop. Get Ron White.
Do you have the urge to get up and send me $1,000? Close.
Close.
Thought you were talking about me there for a second.
So anyway. All right. So AJ Preller addressed a lot of things during the scrum. He actually was more candid than we've heard in the past. I mean, is he candid? No. Is he more candid than usual? Yes. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. Wow, Cincinnati 61-60-7 against Miami of Ohio. To go back to that last question we did.
Wow.
In the 120 something times that they've played, 120 whatever times.
Jake, get ready because we're going to be doing college football, Army, Navy questions over the next 2 days. So
let's get to correct. I forgot it's also time for the biggest fan.
It is. It is.
Before we hear from AJ Preller, let's get to today's biggest fan. Today's biggest fan, congratulations to Brianna Depew. Brianna Depew in San Diego, Depeu, Depew. Give us a call within the next 10 minutes at 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973, and you'll qualify for our grand prize. 20 tickets for you and your friends for a night in our Odyssey suite at a Padres game with all of the fan staff later this season. Catered by Spiro's Mediterranean Cuisine. Remember to register your name at 97throughthefantasy.com/biggest fan.
We laugh because all of the fake name
Pepe
messages are coming in now.
That would be Pepe Le Pew, not Brianna Depew. We're giving the biggest fan to French people. Pepe's daughter. Le Pew. That'd be Pepe Le Pew, not Brianna Depew. That's how I'd pronounce that. Would you pronounce that any other way? Depew.
See now maybe that's the thing.
Depew.
Because like I said, there's no official contest between the three shows. See who gets more of their callers to call in.
Close.
Yeah. Maybe we should get the caller so angry that they have to call in. Like, they heard me. I'm at work right now. I'm in a meeting, but I can't call in. We start making fun of the name, and then we get them so mad that they stop what they're doing and call in.
Nate immediately was like, Pepe? Depew. Brianna Depew in San Diego. Depew. If you know Brianna, tell her to call us. 833-288-0973.
Don't tell her the chat's making fun of the name, please. Because I'm sure all the jokes that are being said in the chat, she's heard more than 1,000 times.
Yeah.
So let's just be cool. Let's just play cool.
Pepe.
That's not playing cool.
Isn't is the shrimp from the Muppets? Isn't his name Pepe?
Yes.
Pepe Prom?
Yeah, Pepe the Prawn, yes.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, Pepe the King Prawn. That's another great Pepe. He's hilarious. I love Pepe the Prawn. So funny. But it's actually okay.
Squirrel!
Hey, he's throwing in Pepe, man. We got Pepe Le Pew. We got Pepe the Prawn.
We have Pepe de Preller that we can get to here.
AJ Preller spoke with the media today, answered a lot of questions about Fernando. And is he untouchable? He gave an answer. Here's what AJ Preller had to say.
I'm just wondering, generally, have you always, I'm kind of assuming here, but have you always found the term untouchable kind of a silly term? It's like, I don't think you've ever gone on the record to say this guy's untouchable.
Yeah, I mean, I think we look at it again, like there's a bunch of guys on our roster that we're not looking to have conversations about. If somebody wants to call and say, hey, like, and that's happened this offseason where they called and said, hey, would you talk about this guy? So we're not talking about, those players. I don't see us doing that. If somebody wants to say, hey, would you do this? You're not going to just like cover your ears and say, hang up the phone immediately, but I think for us, again, we have, I've seen the reports on Tatis and things like that. Like Tatis is one of the best players in baseball. We believe he's, one of the top guys in baseball. He's a 2-time platinum winner. He's a guy that's taken over, portions of seasons and, in games and playoff series and everything like that. And, I think for us to get to where we want to get to, we need Fernando to look up, and we think he can be an A-lane MVP, whatever kind of category you want to put on it. He can be that, that type of player. And I know Craig going down there, Dominican, kind of starting that process of talking to him about, being that kind of player for us this year. And every one of the whiteboards and the different versions and iterations of the team and roster we put up there is with Toddy right in the middle is, hopefully, one of the top players on our team this year in terms of the roster build. So, again, we like our group, we like our players, we like the core group that we've signed. Expecting those guys to carry a lot of the production and leadership piece for our team next year.
So is he untouchable?
Dennis said he doesn't like that term, so but he's somebody that again we're not talking about. So however you want to view that, if you want to say that's untouchable, you can say that.
Does that stop teams from asking about him?
No, but that's like any player. That's not just Toddy. That's like any player. Like teams will start the conversation. I know you're not going to talk about this guy, just to let you know if you ever did. We have interest in this guy, and then we go on and talk about, some other players and some other things that are a little more realistic. So,
I believe you once told Mad Dog if someone wanted to trade 2 Tatises for Tatis, we would do it.
That's definitely that's why I don't think you ever, the idea of like covering up the phone and I don't want to listen. I mean, you never, like ultimately, you see the Herschel Walker trade in other sports, and it's like that's why we're in these jobs, is because you want to you owe it to the organization yourself to at least hear what's out there at this time of year, that kind of on any player, like any kind of conversation. But again, we got our hit list and our target list, and we have our guys that we feel like are going to be part of our team, and that hasn't changed in these meetings or anything like that, honestly.
A lot of interesting stuff there at AJ Preller. A lot of the stuff that we kind of already knew was happening behind the scenes, right? All good general managers are going to do that. They're all going to ask, like, hey, you know what? I know you're not interested right now, but if you ever got the interest to trade so-and-so, we'd be interested in listening. We'd be interested in doing this. And he's got to take all of those calls. But that was the closest I think you're ever going to get, Frank, to AJ Preller saying that Fernando Tatis Jr. is untouchable.
Yeah, and I think it goes, honestly, I think it went without saying, but with how many rumors have swirled about him over the course of this offseason so far, as young as this offseason is, I think it was worth it for him to just reiterate that, and the fact that he is a franchise cornerstone. He is not going anywhere. You can argue that he is the face of the franchise. He's one of the best players in the league currently. and we're not interested in realistically getting rid of him at the current moment. If something comes up that knocks our socks off, a deal too good to pass up, then we would consider it. But right now, the plan is that he's here. He's a San Diego Padre, and that's not going to change.
No, it's not going to change. And the thing is that's everything that we thought was going to happen with that. But again, that's the closest that you're going to get to AJ Preller saying he's untouchable. I like the way how candid he was in a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
But I think we could finally put this one to bed. I mean, I'm sure these reporters are getting a lot of different information. Like, oh, they took a phone call on Fernando. But the reality is AJ's going to get a phone call on everybody. And he's going to entertain it as you would, as you want to see a guy run your team like that, of not ignoring the phone calls. And, who knows what kind of deals you might be able to come up with. I mean, there might be some players out there that might make AJ Preller think twice about a potential deal. But that was kind of the latest update we have gotten from today's winter meetings. I mean, today's the day it dies down. They got a big signing earlier today, as mentioned before. That has been the main talk of the winter meetings. And outside of that, that's about it. We'll see what happens over the next couple of weeks or so as AJ Preller tries to build up this team. We're going to take a quick change of direction. It's a big thing that happened in college athletics yesterday. It's making it even crazier than it already has been. In the last 2 years, it gets crazier and crazier. What did the University of Utah do? They made a deal with the devil. What was that deal? We'll talk about it when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. Standing Number Sports Station 97 through the Fan. This hour on 97 to the Fan is brought to you by U.S. Wellness Meats. This holiday, serve something truly special. 100% grass-fed beef, lamb, and bison, plus pasture-raised pork and poultry from U.S. Wellness Meats. Sustainably raised, shipped to your door. Get 20% off your first order at uswellnessmeats.com. Biggest fan did not call in today. A little bit of a downturn here, Frank.
We gotta do something here.
I know.
We gotta do something.
We gotta fix it.
Like I said,
You got to stop using fake names, dude.
Next step is we start making fun of these people. Like I said, maybe that's the thing. We get people mad enough to call.
Or we just call Nate's name or Juan's name or something. People
Yeah.
All right, let's get to some of this crazy stuff in college football. So what happened yesterday? Okay. The University of Utah has approved a groundbreaking partnership with private equity firm Otro Capital. Otro? What do you think that's pronounced? Otro?
I said Otro yesterday.
Otro Capital, making Utah the first major college athletics program in the country to sell an ownership stake for in a for-profit company tied directly to its athletic department's revenue streams. The deal is not final, but the university's board of trustees voted unanimously to move forward. This is not just a licensing deal. This is structural. This is how the partnership lays out, as put together in an article in The Athletic, but also in USA Today. Utah created a new for-profit company, Utah Brands and Entertainment, UBE for short. The majority of ownership of this group is the University of Utah via its nonprofit foundation. Interesting. Minority ownership is Otro Capital. This Utah Brands and Entertainment will manage ticketing, events, sponsorships, media rights, operations, stadium events, merchandise and licensing, NIL distribution to athletes. The university and athletic department retain control of coaching hires, scholarships, sports sponsorships, NCAA compliance, who gets what in NIL payouts, and overall strategic direction. They are making a board for this. Will be 4 University of Utah representatives, 2 from Otro, and 1 outside supporter/investor. There is also a buyback option if Utah ever wants to regain full control of this particular entity. No official dollar figure was released, but Yahoo Sports reported the partnership could produce up to $500 million in revenue. University president Taylor Randall suggested the arrangement will create hundreds of millions over time. AD Mark Harlan said Utah needs immediate capital in the short term, hinting at a substantial upfront payment. A possible 7-year term was discussed. What is the motivation for Utah in this? Well, Utah is now in the Big 12, a league generating tens of millions less than the SEC and the Big 10. Meanwhile, universities can now pay athletes up directly up to $20.5 million annually in football, creating new costs. Many schools are sorry, that's in general. Many schools are drowning financially. They list that Colorado is $27 million in the deficit for their athletic department. They also list that Ohio State is $37 million in a deficit. Utah did not want to increase student fees, which is what San Diego State is trying to do. Correct, Frank?
Correct.
Cut sports, especially women's sports and Olympic sports, and divert money from academics. They didn't want to do any of those things, so they signed on with private equity instead. Administrators said the current model was not sustainable for what they've been doing. As CFO Anthony Wagner put it, the upside is the difference between surviving and thriving. Why did Utah move first? Well, they acknowledged a widening revenue gap with the SEC and Big Ten powers, rising costs with NIL and house settlement payouts, a desire to not cut sports, a need to remain competitive after conference realignment. President Randall of Utah said there's equal risk in doing nothing. NCAA President Charlie Baker called the design, quote, well thought out and well designed. There's obviously a lot of risks and concerns about this. Private equity expects returns. What happens if revenues don't grow enough? Potential conflict between university values and commercial decision-making. There's obviously fear. Utah may have undervalued itself as the first mover. Tension between profit-driven goals versus nonprofit academic mission. Risk of a slippery slope. Does this lead to semi-pro college athletics? The agreement includes veto rights on unethical sponsorships and university oversight through audits, but many details remain unclear. Who is Otro Capital? Well, they did a little breakdown on this. They're a New York-based private equity group focusing on sports, entertainment, and media. Portfolio includes FlexWorks Sports, youth sports events, stake in Formula One team, BWT Alpine. Founders have ties to the NFL, Cleveland Browns. Alpine.
The French outfit.
No. Semantics. MLB, NHL operations, and business management also have ties to Otro Capital. Is this the start of a trend? Probably, I would imagine. Other schools have explored similar structures, but Utah is the first to bring in an outside owner. Past efforts, Florida State explored, but backed out in 2023. Big 12 floated conference-wide private equity deal in 2024-2025. Big 10 considered a $2.4 billion deal with UC Investments, a 10% stake in media rights company, currently paused after Michigan and USC blasted it as a payday loan. Utah's move may break the seal and normalize PE ownership in college sports. The more I look at this, Frank, and the more I break it down, the more, I think Utah did a good job in the sense of creating opportunities to get out of it with a buyback option. I'm sure that's probably a ton of money for them. I'm sure it's not like an equal buyback deal. I think they tried to put in as many situations, or should I say, a lot of outs, but also a lot of different things in terms of being able to control what's going on. But a lot of the times when you sign on with private equity and you try to have control over things, all of a sudden there's a lot of forcing out of the main people that sold their company, essentially. And this has the makings of that potentially happening.
They had the best intentions at heart, wanting to keep the university affordable for students to go, wanted to keep a lot of the athletic programs that would have more likely than not gotten cut. They had the best intentions in mind with the idea to do this. It's just that doing it, like actually doing it, there's so much unnecessary risk that you have to take if you're a university athletic department. And there's no doubt that if this works, I don't think it's going to happen overnight. Like, I don't think now all of a sudden you're going to see Ohio State and Michigan and them doing this. If it doesn't work out, if it works out over the next couple of years, then I see them doing it. They're going to use Ohio. They're going to use Utah as the guinea pig right now, and then give it a couple of years, see how everything develops from it. If it works, then everyone's going to do it. If not, then no one's going to do it. Or they think that or it's going to be like a Michigan who's going to say, "Oh well, they're Utah. They're not a big program. We are. We know what we're doing." And you're going to find a program that has the arrogance to try it again.
It's not as crazy as you think it is, because there are certain deals like this at a lower scale. Now, it's not private equity taking over ownership, but all these schools make deals with companies like JMI, right? Like all the schools in town here in San Diego have a contract with JMI. What JMI does is they buy the media rights from the colleges, and then they sell them to entities, and then they sell the advertising. So essentially what happens is, like, San Diego State, when they have a radio deal, like radio deals in general.
Yeah, it's like going on Westwood One.
They get a check from said company. It could be Learfield, it could be JMI, it could be whatever. That's
the one I was thinking.
Yeah, Learfield IMG used to be the deal. So like Learfield gives out a check to San Diego State, let's say. They have a deal with JMI. So I'm just using examples. So let's just say Learfield, and they had a deal with TCU for a while. They give TCU like $50 million or something. Whatever it is. Let me just use 50 for general terms. They then take those rights, and then they buy space on radio and TV or whatever it may be, and other advertising. And so they buy the real estate on a radio station. And then what happens is they buy the real estate, and then they sell off all the apps. So they sell the advertising for it, and they make their money on the advertising. The school gets one type of check. I'm sure there's other percentages in there, but that's essentially the business. Everybody wins. So the radio station or whatever, they get a check for their airtime when they're usually playing overnight stuff that doesn't cost them a lot of money. Instead, IMG or Learfield or JMI, whoever it may be, they come in, they buy the hours that you would sell advertising for. So they get paid. Radio station gets paid. The school gets a check for their media rights for X amount of years. They don't care. They're getting a check for their games being on the air. And then what JMI does or whatever, and this is just basic terms, they then sell the real estate that they bought on said media platforms or wherever they sell their ad, because they also do in-stadium boards and all that stuff. They make the money off of that. So it's everybody kind of wins in this particular deal. That's not crazy. Now, what Utah is doing is putting that on steroids. Not only is this company taking over media rights and that stuff, but they're doing ticketing and events and sponsorships, and they will take over the media rights, stadium events, merchandise and licensing, NIL distributions. I mean, they essentially, what Utah did was, we're going to get a check for X amount of dollars from Otro. Otro is going to control and run all of our business stuff that we don't want to deal with. They're going to make all their money off the business stuff in some sort of percentage, which is probably going to be lucrative for Otro. And everybody wins over there at Utah. The board is interesting that they have control of it. I think the buyback option is interesting as well. I'm sure it's going to cost way more than what it is currently. And there's ways around it, but it sets you up for a lot of problems. I mean, I've already seen a congressman put out like trying to get rid of tax exempt status from the University of Utah. But this is all the crazy stuff that you have to do to compete at a high level because of TV contracts with certain conferences. And if Utah's ever going to compete with the SEC or the Big Ten, I mean, they got to bridge the gap somehow. And this is a way that school is going to be able to do it. It's kind of crazy. It's a big risk. I think, I don't necessarily know the reward is worth the risk, but I will say this: if it works out for Utah over the next couple of years and it doesn't turn into a disaster, everybody's going to be jumping on this.
Yeah, no one's, like I said, no one's going to do it right now. I don't see this as being this is a thing where a major school is going to do this right now.
Definitely not the ones that already have money.
Correct. I do, like I said, I do see if it works out, if it works well, then yes, absolutely. People are going to jump on this. But if it doesn't, you're either going to see no one else try it, or you're going to see a school that's like on the bottom fringe of that A tier that is arrogant enough to think that they could do it better. I think it's going to be one of the two. It's either going to work and everyone's going to do it, or it's going to work, it's going to fail and no one's going to do it, or you're looking for that arrogant school to try it again.
And again, Utah right now is surviving without it. They want to thrive with it, is kind of the goal. But as you mentioned, like, good intentions. There's a lot of bad decisions that have been made based on good intentions, based on the best intentions. I'm sure Utah's got some of the best intentions in mind. Hey, we'll save all the Olympic sports. We'll save the women's sports. We'll be able to pay for all this stuff. We'll be able to be competitive, but they're getting a check. And they're going to have to pay it back in some particular way. That's usually how these work. So it's a little sketchy, for sure. It's a major risk, but I would not be surprised if they start winning in all their different sports because they got more money than everybody else, that more schools will try to sign on. And then it creates even more havoc. Now, I think eventually they're going to have to get to a collective bargaining with prospective players in the college level. I mean, this is already going to high levels of whatever, high levels of professionalism with money involved. But just another domino to fall. Private equity, part of college athletics. Then the tax exempt status for some of these universities, that's going to be something interesting to monitor. But again, like, Utah wanted to do this so they didn't have to raise their student fees for the kids that aren't playing sports. They didn't want to like have the academic side of the school have to fund what they're doing on the athletic department side. They didn't want to have to cut sports and everything like that. It'll be interesting to see. You know what else is going to be interesting to see? Whether or not Phillip Rivers plays on Sunday. He's back. He met with the media. What did he say? It's going to be good for a little nostalgia for a lot of San Diego Charger fans out there. Does he have a chance? Does he get to play on Sunday? It sounds like there's a good chance. Is he going to get hurt? We'll see. We'll talk about Phillip Rivers coming back to the NFL when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. All right. Final segment. I was about to say of the week, but we're back tomorrow. We're just not going to be here. We're going to be at the Army Navy game. Looking forward to it. Should be a fun time.
I do feel bad. Like I'm happy for you in the fact that, Cathedral is playing Folsom First Day Championship, but I feel so bad that it's going to be a day of stress.
I'm making it through the
getting
entire
back
day
on Friday.
We'll have the full report on Monday about everything that we're doing.
I feel bad.
It's okay. There's going to be a lot going on. I mean, there was one year that I watched the state championship at 11 o'clock Eastern time. The first time I went to Army Navy. So we'll tell you more about it next week. But a lot of moving parts this week. That's all I'll say. But we're going to have a lot of cool stuff on the Army Navy game, a lot of cool stuff on what's going on out there. If you're going out to the Army Navy game, because I know we got a lot of Navy listeners, it'll be fun to maybe say hi. We'll be at M&T Bank Stadium on Saturday. Frank's going to have a great time.
Yes.
Out there this week because it's his first time to take you. We're going to go to nice dinners, Frank.
And go
take care of everything. The lunches are usually good. We got breakfast Friday morning.
And go Aztecs in the chat. Yes, I am going with him.
He is going. We leave tonight at 7 o'clock. Fly to Salt Lake.
Want to give the full itinerary?
Fly to Salt Lake
what are we doing
and then
here?
fly to Baltimore. Yep. That's it. All right. Let's talk about there's something that popped up. Maybe we can talk about this tomorrow. I thought it was very interesting. Front office sports, they usually have some pretty good things. Got some good insight. The Notre Dame fiasco this week has been hilarious. I mean, talk about a crash out.
Yeah,
You
that
thought
has been
Frank
an
was crashing
almighty
out this
crash
morning?
out.
Notre Dame. Crazy.
I do feel better, though, as I told you from a couple breaks ago. The Mets may have found their answer. They may have found their replacement for Pete Alonso.
Chris Davis?
Paul Goldschmidt.
That's basically Chris Davis now.
That won't make Met fans riot at all.
So what happened this week was, we're going to talk about this tomorrow, maybe Friday. Paul Feinbaum ignited a national firestorm this week by questioning Notre Dame's belief that it's still one of college football's premier TV attractions. He said that Notre Dame is no longer a top-tier ratings draw, and their brand prestige doesn't match the SEC or the Big Ten anymore. Feinbaum's comments came as Notre Dame loudly protested being left out of the college football playoff. The Irish went 10-2, but were bumped in favor of Miami, who beat them head-to-head. No surprise there. Notre Dame AD Pete Bavacqua had gone on the public crusade, blasting both the committee and the ACC commissioner, Jim Phillips. Hasn't gone over well. They've complained about the group of 5. They compared to all this stuff. As much as like Feinbaum likes to talk out of both sides of his mouth and other areas, he had very blunt critique, but the ratings back up what he had to say. Is this did you see this? Notre Dame's overall TV viewership.
I saw that. I saw what he said. I didn't see the data, and he's honestly not wrong. And why is he not wrong? Because Notre Dame doesn't ever play anyone worth watching.
They don't. They don't.
I don't want to sit there and watch Notre Dame beat Boston College for the 60th year in a row. Like, I don't care.
So here's what the ratings are for Notre Dame. So Notre Dame averaged 3.93 million viewers a game. That's 15th nationally. They trailed Florida, Ole Miss, South Carolina, Florida State. They barely beat Vanderbilt, Missouri, Penn State, Miami. Alabama, here's a comparison to some of the other teams. Alabama averaged 8.49 million viewers, more than double Notre Dame. SEC teams made up 8 of the top 10 most watched programs. Notre Dame appeared in just one top 20 game when they played Miami at 10.8 million, which they lost. Notre Dame still gets $50 million annually for its exclusive NBC deal. Their last national title was 1988. Notre Dame is a massive brand valued at $1.85 billion, the number 4 most valuable program, but actual interest doesn't match their own sense of importance.
Oh, I think, is that true? Hold on. I just saw something in chat. I'm trying to confirm it.
I saw a text about that.
Okay, so
I'm going to get to that in a second. Notre Dame started 0-2, killing early season momentum, and last year's national title game appearance did draw 22.1 million viewers, though still one of the lower college football playoff championship numbers.
Ooh.
Yeah, Michigan decided to part ways with their head coach today.
For cause. Saying Michigan has fired Sharon Moore for violation of university policy.
Interesting.
Please tell me he's being fired in connection to the recruiting thing. From
They just waited. They're like, let's just wait for him to lose Ohio State.
Please,
we'll use that
please,
as an excuse.
just please tell me it was that. Tell me it's related to that.
So anyway, back to Notre Dame real quick. They don't have the top level viewership that a lot of people think. And here's the other thing about Notre Dame. They don't compete against anybody. They're on national television every week. They're on NBC. They got this exclusive deal with NBC. Not only that national, they're on broadcast. Not everybody gets to be on broadcast. And they still don't do that well. Paul Feinbaum, I don't think he's right on a lot of stuff. I think he's a lot of, biased with the SEC. He's got the data to back it up that Notre Dame is not the brand that they think they are anymore.
Right, because nobody cares to watch them beat down Syracuse and Purdue every year. No one cares. You know what the result of the game is going to be.
It's not appealing to me. Watching Notre Dame football is not appealing. Them beating up on bad teams and the fact that they can lose to Northern Illinois at home and it doesn't affect them ever. Then they take their ball and go home when it's all said and done. We're going to talk more about that later on. It's funny to me how that happens. Where's the latest on the Michigan? Who had the Michigan stuff?
I'm seeing it from all over the place.
I'm trying to find. My Twitter feed right now is all.
Yeah, it's all baseball stuff.
All baseball, obviously, with the algorithm.
Yeah, ESPN. Adam Schefter, Pete Thamel, and Dan Wetzel. Right now is who ESPN is sourcing.
Pete Thamel, who's a college football senior writer for ESPN. He goes, Sharon Moore has been fired by Michigan per Dan Wetzel and Adam Schefter. The firing is set to be for cause. Michigan head football coach Sharon Moore has been terminated with cause, effective immediately following a university investigation. Credible evidence was found that Coach Moore engaged in an inappropriate relationship with a staff member. Oh boy. Biff Poggi is the interim coach.
Biff?
Biff.
Biff?
B-I-F-F.
Biff.
Biff. Inappropriate relationship with a staff member. Crazy.
What do you say? What do you say?
That guy, it's like the same thing. Like, that's why Coach Orgeron got fired, right?
I believe
Was that the same thing?
I don't know.
I just, like, people, it's funny. Like, that guy just threw away his career for that. Why? For what? I mean, what a way to just throw away money. You were the head coach at Michigan, my guy. The head coach at Michigan. Now you're not going to coach ever again, probably.
I mean,
and if you do, it's going to be at some small school that barely has the funding to keep the program afloat. Why? I don't know the details yet, so I can't, this is all, whatever. It's reports. This is what allegedly happened. I mean, this is what Michigan's saying. I'm sure there's two sides to every story, all that stuff. But just on paper of what Michigan is firing Sherrone Moore for, why? Why?
I don't understand.
Why?
I don't understand.
Why? I mean, come on, man.
Maybe
just so dumb.
Maybe it's because I'm still kind of new. I guess you can call 5 years in the business new. That, and especially definitely new to having a microphone in front of my face every single day. I couldn't imagine saying something or doing something so blatantly off the wall stupid to get myself into genuine, legitimate trouble. Like, I would never, I could not think of something that I could do on purpose, knowing that it was wrong, and just do it and like be okay with it. Like, I don't understand why people get the complacency that some people have in their jobs.
Oh, and the thing is somebody might hire him again later, like Bobby Petrino.
Yeah.
But he's been a disaster everywhere he's gone.
That was Nate. That was a bit. Yeah, exactly. That was a gimmick. That wasn't me doing it to genuinely irk people. That was a bit. And I didn't do it on a random day. I did it when they were here as a joke.
The other thing, too,
and you saw how well it worked for me. They missed the playoffs. They got swept.
I mean, didn't like Coach Orgeron? I mean, I don't remember off the top, so I don't want to like create rumors. I'm pretty sure it was he like hitting on some like important person at LSU's like wife or something like that. Wasn't that like part of that? I think that was part of the deal.
Don't remember.
But it's just, why do that? I mean, yeah, Coach Orgeron's getting considered for coaching jobs, but has he been hired yet? I mean, it comes with baggage now. The guy, Michigan's a top-level job. Threw it away. Let's have some positivity to end the show. Phillip Rivers meeting with the media today. What is it, like a couple minutes?
I gotta get it back up. I did
the thing.
I did the search on the same thing. I had it. It'll take me 2 seconds.
He got introduced today. I mean, we don't know if he's going to be. He got signed to the practice squad. He's going to get through a couple of practices. He might start Sunday. We don't know yet. Might alter some things. But here's Phillip Rivers back in an NFL locker room.
All right. No Zoom. Let's go. Phil, first of all, welcome back to Indy face to face. The two questions just kind of jump out is, why do you want to do this, and why do you think you can do this?
Yeah, that could be a long one. I'll try to keep it simple. I've tried to make this as simple as I can. I'll try not to get emotional, actually, you asking that. As simple as can be is a coach that I love and an organization that I really enjoyed being with. Mr. Irsay believing in me in that year in 2020 when it didn't go so good in 2019. And shoot, the teammates that I were able to play with, shoot, 14 of them are still here. Training room's the same. PR guys are the same. Equipment room's the same. And they wanted me. And, I try to keep it as simple as that. And, a game I love to play, a game that I thought I was done playing. Certainly, I wasn't really hanging on to any hope of playing again. I kind of thought that ship had sailed. But something about it excited me. And it's kind of one of those deals, the door opens and you can either walk through it and find out if you can do it, or run from it. And I know that there's risk involved, obviously, of what may or may not happen. But the only way to find out is going for it. And I just felt almost like it was a gift, another opportunity to play and cut it loose with your guys in the game you love to play, and the dream that you got to live. You may get some bonus time. So I really kept it as simple as that in my mind. And here I stand.
Perfect timing right before the end of the show. How can you not root for Phillip Rivers?
Yeah.
I'm locked into the
that's a
Colts
nice
now,
story.
baby.
Did you see one of the tweets about it? I'm going to say dag nabbit so loud. Sam is screaming.
It'll be fun to watch Phillip Rivers play if he does play, and we'll see. It'll be fun to see. When we come back tomorrow, we'll be live in Baltimore. Quinn and Chris coming up next. Braden Surprenant Show, San Antonio Sports Station, 97 The Fan.